Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode, 93, session 93 of Pokerole. We had quite the cliffhanger ending on session 92, and we have just begun a dungeon and a battle, for that matter, in a rather interesting place. And we have a new party member, well, potentially anyways, on the field now. Quite the cliffhanger ending. If you didn't see session 92, we of course have a story arcs page on the wiki. You can always look at that if you want to catch up before a stream or before a video, or if you don't want to catch up on the videos themselves. But before we begin, of course, if you like the video, do think about giving it a like. If you haven't subscribed yet, think about doing that as well. But if you really want to help out, come over to Twitch. We're trying to reach partner over here, but we always need more viewers to actually achieve that goal. So if you want to come by, whether it's to lurk or to talk, think about doing so, because it really does make a big difference, and I'm really honestly happy to see new people and old people alike. An active audience makes me happy. It makes me feel more motivated to make good content, so do think about coming by if you want to. We also have a pretty cool Discord community if you want to check that out, and there's also the Pokerole Discord community for our game, our Pokerole game, that you can access off of that. And I also have a coffee link if you want to help directly monetize my content, and I have a Streamlabs merch store if you want to buy some cool merch. And eventually we may indeed get Pokerole merch, so look out for that later. But in any case, all links are in the description if you want to check them out. And of course, on the note of the wiki link to our Pokerole Pioneers wiki link thing is right here. Go check it out if you want to catch up on recaps, get up bio information of the different characters or areas and stuff, or if you want to help out with the wiki, feel free to help out over there as well. With that being said, I hope everybody is doing well tonight. How is everybody on the table?
Awesome!
I'm pretty good.
Pretty good?
I'm doing well. I believe Kyrio went to get a drink.
I'm back. I'm here.
Hydration is good.
I'm doing quite alright.
Good. I am doing well after 14 hours of sleep, I would say. Has he showed art yet? No, I have not. Actually, do we have any new art? I don't believe we do, but I'll double check.
I haven't. I thought I checked recently, but
I know there was one puppy that was just recently done.
Oh, right. I forgot that was actually fan art. Whoops. Let me just save that and I'll share it. Was that by that was by Wolf Mage, right? There. I have a whole system for saving art. Gotta keep it organized, because we've received fan art for quite a while, so gotta make sure I keep it organized and named to the right people.
Yes. Oh man, I'm actually high-key excited to go back over all the fan art at the end.
I might do some sort of collage, actually. I don't know. I'll have to think about it.
Granted, that's years away.
So here's Wolf Mage, who has drawn Puppy. But also, I was told there was a comic. Yeah, there is a comic, said somebody. I'm like, okay, I don't see it though. If there is a comic I should be showing off, let me know where it is. I'm making a comic for episode 26 eating contest. Try to get it done before episode 100. Oh, okay, cool.
wow, nice.
Wait, what? Oh, maybe I just misunderstood what you said, Aiden. You said there is a comic, and I thought we were talking about the fan art. Ah, I see, Reese. I see. Alright, in that case, that's the art for now. Well, I mean, I guess I could also show off the art of course, the new character that showed up right here. Showed it off last session. Here it is again. We have a newcomer Of course, Car, feel free to do a recap.
Yes, I think it would be rather pertinent and important to do a recap right now.
Yes.
Last session, we began with the group deliberating on what they should do about Puppy, because in the session prior to that one, they had received a talking to by Pangoro about what they are going to do with effectively what is the group's new child. And what they ended up doing is they went out and they took one of the first suggestions that Pangoro had, which was, weirdly enough, Crocodile and Miltank. And they decided to do, you could call it an interview with the couple that run the spa. And yeah, just an informal interview. Though it should be noted that the Mute Squirtle and Noibat have been following around the team for the most part. They have not followed on... Well, Squirtle has not followed on this current mission, but Noibat has. But Miltank seems pretty okay with allowing Puppy to be around for a few days, and seems to think it's going to be fine. The audience and I both know that it's probably not fine, but we'll, Team Cheer doesn't know that. As the days progress, and not that many at that, Team Cheer makes preparations to leave Savan Town and head over to Sea Spray, and they visit Mudbray's ranch along the way, and Mudbray lets them stay as long as they feel like it, mostly because Old Man Mudbray is generally quite personable and hospitable. Unfortunately, however, Ralph needed to sleep in the barn, since Mudbray's cabin, shack, what have you, is not sized for someone like Ralph, unfortunately. And, as last time, the team go about doing chores, or at least some of them do, in order to pay the way for that kindness that has been put forward to them. Brooke and Tucker decide to go visit the ruins of the stone Alcazar, while Ralph remains on the ranch. And the two who go there reminisce about what happened, rescuing Mudsdale among several other Pokemon, including, I believe it was another Machamp. It was either Machamp or a Machoke. I believe it was a Machamp, who is now working on Mudbray's ranch. Facing off against Mistress Salazzle, and Tiber taking Riley's body at the end, and what that led up to. And while they feel bad about the Pokemon that were likely trapped in a cruel fate underneath the collapsing structure, they can at least take pride in how far they've come and how they're improving. Even Augmentation had something to say to its host. When they finish reminiscing, Brooke and Tucker return to the ranch and help with a bit of sheep wrangling before they get rest. The next day, the party is sent off by Mudbray, and the trek to Sea Spray continues. Though when they reach the city, since it's probably best described as a city in some aspects, Noibat shelters their ears in Tucker's fluff because it's a bit noisy, and Florence asks where they're going. And they answer that they are looking for Luxray. And surprisingly, the bard takes the lead, walking towards the library. They arrive without issue, which is very different to the last time they went to Sea Spray, because last time one of them almost got run over by a jerk on an Aura board. And it's not terribly hard to find Luxray, who pops out to silence Florence, who is noisy, as is usual. And the team inform Luxray that they've learned about him being a member of a group called the Archivus, and that they're looking to remedy the situation with the comatose shaman. Luxray is kind of surprised that they know this, but is almost as surprised at the source of the knowledge, being the Articuno from up north. So, before there's further conversation, he ensures that the library is empty of everyone who is not relevant to the conversation, and locks up. He confirms that their statement is true. Luxray is part of the Archivus, and he can take them to where the Great Library is. But they need to go through the Dragon's Path. Luxray then directs his attention to Noibat, who he believes will be able to take the group through the path due to being a dragon type. He goes on to explain that they can reach the path by visiting a ceremonial gravesite that is usually guarded by dragon Pokemon. Noibat, however, doesn't really know anything about all this, but Florence and Luxray do. Luxray explains that there is such a gravesite north from Seaspray in the mountains, near a place known as Cinderfall Forest, and Luxray agrees to join them. Since time is somewhat of the essence, and also there's no reason to delay, Luxray locks up again and leaves with the team. Over the next few days, Luxray brings Team Cheer up along the coastline from Seaspray. They notice in the distance as they travel that a storm seems to be approaching, and as they reach higher and higher elevation, they note cinders falling from the sky, indicating they are getting near to where their destination is. Soon enough, they come across a set of dragon bones, and then find a cave filled with them, one of the entrances to the Dragon's Path. Luxray enters the cave and turns focus towards one of the sets of bones buried in the floor, explaining how many dragon types will choose to die at the entrances to help ward off weaker, more cowardly Pokemon from coming across the Dragon's Path. He then informs Noibat that here, Noibat must be the one to let the team enter. Unfortunately, Noibat isn't exactly versed in this sort of thing. Being an orphan, Noibat doesn't exactly know all of this dragon-type stuff. Not his instinct, nor was it taught. In the end, Tucker suggests using the power of connection to try and help Noibat connect with the spirits of the late dragons in the cave. Brooke and Ralph attempt to assist with their own abilities, and eventually, Noibat starts to glow. With a cracking noise, the cave seems to change, and it becomes the Dragon's Path. Everyone transported in that flash of light to a dark, cavernous space, though no less filled with bones of dragons. After everyone has adjusted to their new surroundings, Luxray explains that now they must locate the council and request permission to continue on their way. They approach a pair of glowing red eyes in one of the tunnels, and come across a Haxorus. The Haxorus attempts to attack them, only for the attack to be blocked by a teleporting Kirlia, sending it flying by making their attack collide with a metallic ore. And that is where we left off.
Indeed. And my throat breaks. Good work. Just got here. We just started, guys. So that was the recap. And indeed, quite an eventful recap at that. We did quite a lot last session, actually. A lot of traversal, I would say.
It's such a short amount of time, too, and I feel kind of bad about it.
Nah, it's alright. If we want to meander...
You have to go back anyway.
Yeah, if we want to meander, we can do it later in Sea Spray or whatever. Also, I do find it funny that out of all the people to notice their avatar issue, Ralph didn't.
Right.
But yeah, good catch. I forgot to change that when he evolved.
Oh, right. One thing I didn't mention in the recap is that Florence did do a very brief song or poem when you all entered the Dragon's Path.
He did.
Which I'm not sure if it's on the wiki anywhere.
I don't think so.
I know it was posted up in the chat at one point, and I believe it's it's posted on the server too.
It was an okay song, but it seems like Florence fell a little flat.
Is that a pun or something?
I
can't detect this one.
Yeah, it was a pun because see his thing is flat.
His thing?
Oh, I see.
Oh, his avatar.
Yeah, his he fell a little.
I got the joke.
Actually, no, not yet. At least I don't think so. Hold on a second. I'm working on something, a side project, and...
Maybe I rolled over when I was sleeping on him, actually, because he did sleep on my billet. Maybe I rolled over and that's why it's flat.
I do not believe they're ready yet. But Gen 8 is being worked on. Not by me, it's another guy. I'm just kind of building the project together. Or kind of sorting the project together with other projects. Yeah. Unfortunately, no model for, you know, I've honestly forgot their species name, but no model for them yet. Toxicity, that's it.
Yep, that's fine.
But eventually there will be one, and I will be able to switch it out. But anyways, as far as the song goes, I'm copying this card here. It's stored somewhere odd on my computer. Hold on.
Alright.
Oh, I have the song.
Nice.
I can find it for you.
Oh, just copy-paste it onto this copy. Notepad.
Alright, let's turn this T-Rex into a B-Rex.
Buzz.
Only a B? It's still a decent score.
I don't know where I was going with that.
I don't know where you're going at all
I
today.
would say S-Rex, but S is generally regarded as the highest score in a video game. So we don't want to turn it into an S-Rex.
No, you want a good pun for this guy? Let's get this Haxorus vac ban for hacking.
Oh gosh.
I guess.
There. That's better than what you said.
I don't remember where we were in initiative.
We had not done anything except for rolled for
Yeah.
Right.
We rolled
Right.
We had she had the surprise attack, and then we rolled initiative.
Also,
had the surprise.
as a behind-the-scenes thing, Karserus, was it you or was it me that came up with the song? I can't remember.
I came up with the song. You edited it to better fit.
Right, because it actually goes with the music. Why am I hearing myself? Who the fuck's doing that? Turn off your speakers.
I am on push to talk.
Ooh.
I don't know, I'm hearing myself when I talk. Oh, okay. It's okay, man. I just suddenly realized, why am I hearing myself squawking? I don't like hearing myself squawking. I'd rather not listen to myself.
It's because I was leaning against the microphone and my headphones are bleeding through, I think.
It's okay. It's okay. Some headphones are very sensitive that way. Thanks for sitting up a little bit.
Yeah.
Monster Tag.
What I was going to say was, yeah, you originally came up with the prose, and I edited to fit the song. And actually, if you give me a second, I can. Basically, there's a certain part of the song that has singing, and by the way, this song is public domain by Peritune. The singing is not actually any language. It's one of those sounds like a language but isn't situations, which I think are kind of cool.
Simlish.
Simlish, is that what it's called?
Well,
It is in
no.
The Sims.
No, I'm sorry. That's what Sims speak. There's a specific name for like the whole made-up non-language thing.
Right. Anyways, if you guys would mind giving me a second before I begin, I could sing to the portion of the song. It'll sound horrible because my throat's a little messed up today, but...
Okay.
Okay, hold on a second. So it is this section that's coming up here. And it actually goes perfectly to the singing, so let me sing it for you guys. Horrible... Let me get a drink of water first. That might help my singing slightly.
You'll do fine.
It's just one of those mornings where I just have a cold because I woke up. That's the whole reason. Okay, so I'll just turn up the audio for a second. Oh, the many paths that they ever pave, with claw and scale and steel darkened cave, many in might infernal divine, that be the dragon's way, that be also mine. Oh, the many paths that they ever pave, with claw and scale and steel darkened cave, many in might infernal divine, that be the dragon's way, that be also mine. And repeats, basically.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Now rest your voice.
It's basically just a chant, a singing chant that is repeated.
Yep.
Thank you, guys.
Yep.
I'll say I could sing better some days, so. But I don't have the worst singing voice.
And I appreciate not having to sing it because I don't have the same audio sync that you do.
Yeah, can't sync it to because we all play audio individually. So, thank you for a moment for that. But yes, so now you guys can hear that song playing in the background. And you can hear the lyrics now. Singing Tucker's voice. Maybe we could do it as a bonus later.
Yeah, not right now. Now is game time.
Hell yeah. Let's rock and roll.
Means it is Tucker's turn first.
Actually, would we refer to the music as diegetic? Oh, I didn't roll, actually. Or did we roll at the end of last session? I can't remember.
We rolled at the end of last session.
Okay.
It's only diegetic if Florence is still singing it, I guess.
Yeah, that's my last question. I wonder if the singing is diegetic to this area.
Not necessarily.
There's just
Also, yes, Florence is providing some amount of battle music.
Yeah, good.
Our bird friend.
So let's see. It starts with Tucker. Yeah, that's right, Tucker. Oh, right, I remember. I'm not used to Tucker being on top of the initiative. All right, let's see. Well, this is quite a surprise. This dragon stomping up and such. I think it kind of caught us by surprise, despite its size, if I recall. That rhymes. But even more surprising was this random Curlia out of nowhere, stopping a blow that was aimed for Brooke originally, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct. And Ryda said something to which I'm not sure anybody else heard it in character. But also, I remember Brooke being like, "What the heck is going on?"
I imagine it wasn't audibly terrible for them.
All right. Tucker will, after taking a moment to react to the situation that has just developed a little bit in front of him. Let's see. The hell's Haxorus is typing? Just Dragon, or is it something else?
It is just Dragon.
Okay.
bad you don't know Play Rough.
I could, though, at some point. Actually, it's not a learnable move, but I bet I could learn it all the same. Tucker will lash out with a Dark Pulse, honestly. It's the most effective move at the position he's in. There's a few in front of him, and he doesn't want to hit them, so... Dark Pulse is good at avoiding hurting the wrong target. Even if it is a bit random, too. So... That's about right. Though, is it accurate enough?
Oh, go ahead. It's
Okay.
currently reeling a bit.
Yes. If I recall, the Curlia didn't attack, just deflect, right? But it's in a...
Correct.
It's in a riposte? What's the word for it?
Riposte.
The Dark Souls thing, where you are...
Yeah,
you're not
riposte. Or riposte, whichever you prefer.
It's okay, I'd rather have the Curse 2 on the accuracy roll than the damage roll. On that note. See, that's much better.
Oh.
Alright.
Oh, ow. That's a special type move, isn't it?
Oh, I forgot to add a same type stab.
Yes.
That's an extra die, right?
Yes.
Please don't be a 1 and ruin the roll. Thank you. That's all I don't want.
Nope.
Okay. In that case, Tucker is going to basically lash out with sort of a whip-like tendril of Dark Pulse. Handily just weaving between the two Pokemon in front of him, Brook and the Curlia, to lash out at the Haxorus. And let's see if...
Oh, that's right. Dark Pulse has a chance.
Nope. Absolutely not.
So, the Dark Pulse lashes out and hits the Haxorus in the chest, causing it to reel a bit more, and then it slams its back foot down, steadying itself. It is the unknown Curlia's turn.
Wait, is 5 a crit? Interesting.
Oh, wait, only on accuracy.
Okay.
Wait,
That's
also,
what-
I'm
that's what I
sorry,
thought.
I shouldn't be moving turns until Tucker is done.
Oh, it's okay. Tucker will stop there for the moment. Kind of looking intently to see what it does next.
Very well then. I would like to use Lucky Chant to start off.
Ooh, that's a choice.
Oh, actually, Hydra, there is
Start
something to
off
note.
with
Does it bother you at all, as a psychic type, to have a Dark Pulse tendril just lash out and right next to you, mind you? Because it did weave between you and Brooke.
completely unfazed, as if it never happened.
Ha! That's stoic. I note this because... Well, see for yourself, audience.
So that's 7. So roll.
Part Fairy the front. Oh yeah, that would actually nullify it to normal damage again. Good point.
Oh, it's very resistant to dark.
Yes. Learned that the hard way was when I was playing Sword and Shield.
I keep thinking they're weak to dark for some reason.
Yeah,
All right.
It's the other way around,
Lucky.
actually. Fairy types can
Yeah.
beat up dark types.
All right, Lucky Chant works. That means the Curlia and anyone they consider an ally can now ignore 2 1s in all their rolls. And if an opponent would land a critical hit, it does not.
Yo!
So
Other
two
stuff
two
may
ones
happen.
can be ignored. That's pretty good.
Yeah, Lucky
Nice.
Chant is kind of broken. It's
I mean,
one of the reasons that the Miss Magius fight could have gone sideways for you.
definitely.
So Wolf, I don't think I can answer that question.
After doing that, probably Calm Mind to give myself more of a buff.
Calm Mind, okay.
Alright, in which case you want... if I can... You want Insight, Fight, and Channel -2.
So that's 8 dice.
So that'll be 6 dice because of action penalty.
No, it starts at 10. 8
Oh!
holding the -2.
Oh! Right! You've got a ludicrous amount of dice.
Oh wait, let's see
I
here.
focused
Insight,
just
Fight,
on
Survival.
weapon boosts.
Oh yeah, you put a lot into Channel, a lot into Fight,
Yeah.
and your Insight's pretty solid too.
Yeah?
5. Okay, well that is a crit. Not that it matters for this necessarily, but
Alright, and... You
Critical
buff your
critical
relaxation.
critical
relaxation.
relaxation. I am
One of the
full of
universe.
logic.
Also, Wolf did ask a question to you, Hydra. I don't know if it's important to you or if you want to answer it, but
What is the question?
the question is your character male or female?
Ah, that is the question of the hour. I will reveal that later in a bit.
It is a mystery.
As it usually is.
I've put a green token by your special to denote that you've got a buff, and your special defense is also +1, so I'll grab another token.
Okay, I
No.
was wondering about that.
I'm inspired. Hold on
After
a second.
that,
Let's see.
I will use Confusion, not Orb Channel, just regular Confusion.
Okay. So Dex Fight Channel -6, I believe it is now? No, wait, -4.
So that's 6.
Alright, let's see here. I need to look at moves.
I have Confusion on my sheet if you need to look at it.
No, I need to look at their moves.
Ah, class.
And while you do that, I'm actually gonna do something to make it a little easier to remember something.
No, No.
There it is.
Right. Oh, wow, that's actually a lot better.
Let it come out.
Jeebus, so many dice. Oh, orb!
I'm gonna do a thing. Don't mind me.
So as you lash out with your confusion, the waves of psychic energy get blocked as the Haxorus wraps their claws in dragon energy and brings them down, shattering your attack.
Ooh.
You take 1 damage, as do they.
Let's see.
All rolls.
Probably
Okay.
should have did this first, but I would also like to use Growl.
Sure. Let's see. Regardless of whether you use tough or cute, plus contest and perform.
Well, I can't do that because the penalty is -6, and that is
Oh.
exactly how many dice I would have.
Well, you can use the chance die. There's always a chance, but it could just fail horribly.
I think I'm just gonna... Actually, special fortune.
I'm doing a thing to everybody's character sheets real fast. Just a minor little thing.
Oh, buff.
Okay. So I can use teleport if I want to specifically teleport me and Brooke out of the way.
You can bounce over to... It's just to make it obvious, like, oh yeah, we have a buff.
You know what? I'll just end my turn.
Alright, that might be smart.
Gotta keep some moves in reserve.
Indeed.
Fair.
Which
My
means...
den should be a 4, I think. Okay.
Oh yeah, Brooke be tanky.
My turn?
Yes, it is now Brooke's turn.
How effective is a water ice move? Do they cancel out, or does the ice take place then?
I believe I ruled that whichever is the more advantageous typing will take precedent.
Alright. I'm first going to countenance.
Alrighty.
Or no, bravado, sorry. Not countenance. Countenance is one person. So... Cool contest. Intimidate.
Why am I imagining that Brooke just takes advantage of this situation and taunts the frickin' Haxorus?
You thought you were gonna get sneak attack, but no.
Alright. Now everybody gets a +2 on their next non-damage roll.
Right. And now I will follow up with an ice gun,
Alright.
Nice.
which I guess is -5 now.
Yes.
Dex fight channel.
Oh, why did it become a -5?
Because it has an accuracy penalty of 3.
Oh, I see, yes. Forgot we added that.
So it's 5. I should have done that first.
Right.
That's 2. Oh wait, that's also stab and...
Okay, that helps. 3.
And +1 for super effective.
Is that damage or is that accuracy?
Oh wait, that was accuracy. Sorry.
Accuracy
I was
rolls
gonna
don't
say-
apply super effective yet.
Yeah, unfortunately accuracy rolls don't apply stabbers super effective.
Oh,
Right,
wait, yeah,
my
that's
bad.
right. It's 2 then.
So yeah, it's 2.
Alrighty. In which case... Oh, I forgot to add that move. I'm going to just ignore that move exists.
Ooh, I'm right. I can change the color of that. Nice.
That move is no longer in the list. But that's fine. Alright.
Hey, Hydra, if Lucky Chad has a color, what color would it be?
I suppose green.
Okay.
I'm currently trying to fix my mic because I don't know settings well.
Oh, sure. Usually Windows lets you boost your mic really easily from just the, like, sound panel.
Beerus mentions that Ralph should have 4 defense,
Should he?
and Tucker should have 4 special defense.
Yeah? What's the math on that again?
Defense is vitality. Special defense is insight.
Okay, yeah.
Why
4
Tucker
vitality.
should have 4
I mean, Tucker
because
has
of
3
the-
insight.
garment.
Oh, the garment.
Yeah, you have a garment that increases.
Special defense.
Yeah.
So it should be 4 in total.
Yes.
But I should be
Yes,
using
when I
but
evolved, I got the new vitality.
but that's a bonus point, so I use the yellow counter for that. If it's
3 plus a yellow.
if it's a clothing based stats, it uses a yellow point.
It doesn't give you insight. It gives you specifically special defense.
Oh, specifically. Oh, whoops.
Yeah.
There.
There you go.
Fixed. Right. So in response to Brooke using Ice Gun, the Haxorus's red eyes flash, and it lets out a deafening roar that quakes with dragon energy, sending out waves that shatter the ice even before it gets to it. Once again, you take a damage, it takes a damage. The cave around you... The cave around you rumbles, dust falling from the ceiling briefly.
Wait a fucking minute.
I'm just gonna glare at it.
Oh, what the clashing move the dragon used against Rida? What type was that move?
Dragon.
Could you go look at the dragon part of the damage type chart?
I mean, it's a clash, so it doesn't really matter.
It's a clash against a psychic move, and the way clashes work, if you succeed, your opponent takes 1 automatic damage.
Okay, so it's typeless damage effectively.
Yeah, it's flavored as the explosion from moves clashing, but
okay,
the person clashing still takes a damage though. So
that is, I completely forgot the dragon. Yeah, moves are no effect against fair. How the hell does that work? Huh.
Annoyingly.
So I'm gonna leer.
It's the hierarchy of fantasy.
Dragons are better.
How does
than
it
fairies.
sound now?
You are much more audible.
Oh yeah, that definitely sounds better. Say a few more words.
Loud and quiet. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Sounds. What do you guys think? Is it a good volume for him?
It's fine.
Pretty good.
As long as
I
you
can turn it up a bit louder if need be.
I think you're good actually. I think you match. I think you more or less match the others now.
Okay, I'll keep it at 86.
As a minor recap, the leer worked. Rida used growl, right?
No,
She did.
Oh,
No, I didn't, because I didn't have enough dice, and I didn't.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
No, they did.
Also, Ice Gun got clashed. Does that mean I don't get the flinch or frozen?
I believe in the case of a actually
still affected by super effective. Oh, it's still affected by super effective. So never mind. It took 2 damage.
Super effective still affects clash. That's interesting.
Since he still took damage, then yeah, the chance dice still work.
Okay.
Huh. So effectively,
2 for
clash is
flinch.
typeless damage, but super effective damage is still counted on top of it. That's
2 for
interesting.
frozen.
Yes.
I don't think we ever do that.
The clash
alas.
rule. The clash rule specifically calls out that all damage from a clash is affected by super effective, and it's not very effective. It does not call out immunities.
Huh.
So does that mean my confusion chance die should also apply?
Yes, actually. I forgot confusion had the chance die. Roll that.
That's why I'm confused. Are we counting super effective as an extra damage then? Also, chance failed. Oh well.
Oh, wait, it's a damage die. It's not. Oh, gosh. I'm sorry. I'm blanking. It's been a while since we've done some combat. Is super effective is an extra damage die, isn't it?
No, that's
I thought it was
super
a plus
effective is a
1.
flat extra damage.
Okay, hang on.
Stab is an extra die.
Yeah.
Then
well,
I
hold
need
on.
both
I'm
Brooke-
pulling the book out.
No, I have it. It's the clash rule is pinned. I just misread it.
Oh.
Yes, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna look at the book
Your
anyways.
DM is being dumb and is.
I mean, I'm
needing to get back into
confused.
combat
I'm confused, so I'm just gonna read from the book too.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Here. Anyway, I need the Curlia and I need Brooke to both roll me a die for damage.
Okay.
Let's see. What page is that? Damage? 48?
The
That's
Curlia
cool.
already is.
Or maybe clash.
Right. Okay. Okay.
No. Glad we don't do that. Let's see.
Bah, I'm dumb.
What page is this?
I don't remember. Like, 2 years ago, Cook decided to cut it out for me, and it was pinned in the general chat. Yeah, Clasher takes a die, one being Clash takes an automatic damage.
So super effective doesn't fucking matter, right? that's what I'm trying to determine.
It
In a clash?
specifically states that the damage is affected by super effective and not very effective.
Okay, so... Well, we also did our homebrew to some degree with Clash, I think. So wait, if Clash defaultedly does 1 damage, does that not very effective mean it does 0?
No? Because remember, we still have Plink.
Yeah. Oh, well, okay. I think I just translate everything to 1 damage because of Plink. Because that's oftentimes what it comes out to with Plink. Well. So it just... Okay, yeah, I see.
Also, even if we were dealing with immunities, there's a reason. And I'll get to it in a minute. Is Burke doing anything else after leering?
No, that's my turn.
Beers, instead of telling me, could you just tell me what page this is on? That would be the most useful right now. 54, okay.
Why are you interfering, library rat? You don't have to take the trial.
The Haxorus leers at the Curlia.
Well, since you're here, it will be disrespectful not to challenge you as well.
Let's see here.
Well, he seems very happy to see me, guys.
That is an accuracy roll. No evade, no clash?
I'm trying to see if I have the possibility to.
Fair enough.
Wait, do we at all follow what the book says when it comes to Clash? I'm reading it, and I'm confused further.
Clash has been a point of confusion, which is why I'm glad that somebody pinned it. So I have been following the rules that have been pinned in the server.
Every success the defender rolls will reduce 1 success from the accuracy roll of the foe. If the accuracy roll is reduced to 0, then the foe won't add the power of its move to the damage pool. This means the foe's damage pool will only use its main attribute, strength or special, for its attack. But it also means this method cannot reduce the foe's damage pool to 0, as some of the attack's force can still connect. Are we doing it that way? Just need to know.
That's 2.0. I'm doing the 1.25 clash.
Okay. Oh, wait, this is a... Wait, no, what? This is the 2.0 book? No, this is 1.2, actually.
I think we've been doing 2.0.
Have we?
That's the one that's pinned, I think.
Yeah, the book should be... The book is not the 2.0 book. I've distinctly... yeah, it's never been the 2.0 book on this table. So... Hello there,
This is
Rainbow
much
Dash.
simpler, so yeah, I think so.
So I have the possibility, if I get all 4 dice, to successfully clash.
Oh, you're gonna clash with Psychic?
If I don't, I take full damage. If I clash, does it reduce damage?
Yes.
Then I'll clash.
2.0 and 1.25 Clash is different. I think they changed between 1.2 and 1.25. Are you saying that 1.2, 1.25, and 2.0 all have different clashes then?
Probably. I wouldn't put it past them.
God damn it. I mean, can you blame me for
Not
being
even
confused?
the devs can figure out how Clash should work.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, I
like,
guess not.
I apologize for the confusion, but again, in the general thread of the Discord server is the pinned Clash rules that I've been using.
What page?
The general chat of the Discord server has a pinned message that has an image of the Clash rules that I am using. I don't know what page it's on because it has been cut to be the Clash rules.
Alright, I will compare. What page was I just on? Let's see. I'll let you know if it matches this book in a second. What page was I on, Beerus?
Anyway. Unfortunately, you failed to clash. Fortunately for you, he's using a dark move.
There it is.
Specifically, Assurance.
Oh, yeah, this is definitely different. This spelling mistake for Thunderbolt is not the same as what's in the pinned message.
Oof.
That's how I could tell. Yes, the pinned message in this, it looks similar, but the pinned message below this part says, if you score more successes in the foe's accuracy roll, your foe will receive 1 automatic damage. However, you both still suffered 1 damage die for the foe's move as both Pokemon can combat explosion. No wonder I was confused. What you pinned there is not from this book that I have on the table.
It feels like the book you have on the table would be more hassle to deal with.
It does seem more of a hassle. I'm just noting that that's why I have been completely off base this whole time.
It explains why there has been even more confusion around the Clash rules than normal. I am sorry.
What I could do... Hold on a second. Whoops.
Let's see. So, you resist dark, yes?
Apparently, that is news to me.
Do you?
Psychic Fairy. Probably.
Resistance, Psychic, Dark.
Fairy
fighting.
resists dark.
Okay. I have to double check.
Okay, so I don't actually know which one this is, but let me make a card for it. That's the best. The best course of
I think it's
action is making a
neutralized. Because dark is super effective against psychic, but it's not very effective against fairy, so it cancels out.
card. Here, it's over here. Oh, that's low resolution.
Doop, doop, doop. I have an easy solution. Oh, it is neutral. Then that's 8 total physical damage heading to you.
Ouch.
That's gonna.
That's 8 minus 2 defense.
That's 6.
Six.
I
Yeah,
think
I'm
that
dead.
may knock you out.
Immediately dies.
Super cool anime entrance, immediately called out by the big bad standing there and knocked out. Okay,
boy.
so you have the choice to take the primal point and stay up.
I feel like I should, for theatrical reasons.
Okay. You may make a full recovery.
Wait, what's going on? Sorry, I was focusing on trying to understand what I'm doing.
I died.
The Haxorus used Assurance on the Curlia and knocked them out.
Is that neutral damage?
Yes.
Okay. Assurance sucks. I don't
Yeah,
know what it
plus
does,
2
but it
damage if
hurts.
you already hurt him. And guess
Yeah.
what? Curlia hurt him already using the confusion he clashed.
Yes, yes, indeed. 2 defense, 3 special defense. Wait,
This is why you don't use all your dice on attacking.
what's the little green thing on your special sheet, Hydra?
That's the buff they got from Calm Mind.
Oh, okay.
Tougher than you look. What about your friends?
Oh yeah, we're way tougher than we look.
Alright, and...
And we look pretty tough.
Indeed. Man... only has, like, one move left.
I most definitely should have growled.
Should have what?
Used growl when I had the chance.
Yeah, that would have
Probably.
saved you, yeah.
Yeah.
So wait, we've decided they're not taking damage?
No,
I
they took a primal point.
Oh.
Yeah, also, wow, hey Brooke,
Yep.
scratch coming your way.
Wait, I'm kind of
No,
curious,
it's-
was there, hold on, there's a story potential moment there. So, it took a primal point. What exactly happened then, like, in-game, what happened to avoid the damage and take the other penalty, rather?
It's not that damage was avoided, they are staying up.
Ah. Oh, I'm just inviting Hydra to explain how it happened if they want to take a moment for RP potential, okay?
I know.
What was the move specifically?
Assurance.
Sure. I don't know much about that move at all.
I will look it up real fast for you, because Bald Pete is useful like that.
It is a dark move. If an opponent has already damaged you during the turn, it hits harder.
It's usually like hands in the games, like it's just like getting whacked by, like slapped or something effectively. That's how the animation looks usually.
I imagine the Haxorus turned and hit you real hard with its tail.
Got it. So after being retaliated against and looking like I'm about to pass out, they immediately steal their gaze and just stand upright and just stare daggers into the Haxorus eyes. Just a look of determination of, I can't fall here. Not now.
Huh?
Kaioken times 10.
I believe I can evade.
Also very good.
What's the evasion roll again, just to be sure?
Dex fight evasion.
It's 7, 9, yeah, -6. +2 for counter, bravado.
Assurance
So
is only
it'll be
wait.
5.
Wait, Fair is trying to say we did it wrong. Jolt Mom, you're confusing it with payback.
Ah, darn.
Am I?
Assurance only does extra damage if the target already took damage. As in, Rita.
Oh. Well, they
They
did.
did too, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, they did? Then why is it 6/6?
Because I realized
Because she
Because
was
Prime.
Oh.
She was at 5.
Okay,
when the
well,
attack
then it
went
still
Yeah.
applies then. Affair still applies.
Yeah.
So I failed to evade.
Both enemy and ally had damage, so assurance would apply regardless of whatever definition you read from.
Yeah, it's... And again, remember, the Pokerole moves may be slightly different.
Yes, the clash. It hurts both parties. So in that case, if the Haxorus had assurance and payback, he could use either to have done that, so...
Yeah.
That
Right,
is
he makes me add enough dice to do both.
4 physical damage.
And that clinks.
I like to imagine, since he swung his tail, he effectively used the talons on his feet to scratch at Brooke.
Now it's time for him to pick on someone marginally closer to his own size.
Okay, even after reading the current version of class attacks that you're using, I'm still confused by Clash.
That's fine, I'll just have to explain it repeatedly.
No, I just need the specific part I wanted to understand was what's up with the super effective, not very effective. Does that mean it can potentially add or subtract dice?
So the automatic damage would not be affected because automatic damage is not affected by super and not very.
Okay.
It's the damage die that is affected. So
the part you're taking
the damage die. Yes.
The part the person who decided to clash is taking is affected by super effective and not very effective.
Yeah.
Okay. See all right, that makes sense then. Because it said all damage taken from a clash, so I thought it applied to everybody.
Yeah. But auto damage has a specification that it is just that damage.
Okay, they really shouldn't have said all damage. They never know how to write this.
Yeah, well, we have seen the writing in the book, so...
Okay.
Ralph, what are you doing?
We're gonna start off with a nice stockpile. Let's power up. There we go, got a little stockity pile. Oh, the dice can't resolve because the book's in the way.
Just
There
take
we
the
go.
off the roller.
Sorry about that. I can move it.
It's fine. So long as you got one, it works.
Yeah. Plus I ignored 2 ones, so
That's true.
Oh yeah, I haven't
which
done
is
that.
nice. And I have plenty of ways to heal, so I'm not shy about hey, my HP is an odd number. I round up or down for belly drum.
Round up. Because most systems are adversarial like that.
Yeah, that's with -2. Sweet. Excellent. So that's 6. So I'll have 5. But it doesn't matter too, as my defensive's 5-4 and my strength is like, fuck you, I can flex and blow up a continent.
Suddenly, from pudgy, soft, purpley Snorlax to super buff.
I am become Bufflax, destroyer of Haxorus. I had to scroll over. Alright, let's give this Joker a nice body slam. Alright, let's see. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. -2 is 2 more, so 3 on the accuracy. But that shouldn't be too bad, because I don't think he has anything left to dodge with.
Let's see. Speech assurance. Rage. Well, let's see. Well, he's going to clash you with guillotine.
Oh, nice.
These clashes actually exceptionally high.
Alrighty, so I will roll my dice to hit this Joker. Alright. Strength plus 3 plus 3 more.
You roll a... He clashed you, though.
Oh, do I not
You roll
roll
a...
my...
If he succeeds in the clash, you get to roll a damage die. And you take an auto damage in return.
Yeah, as we cut my hand.
And yet your buffed up muscles of steel are not cut by his axe tusk things.
At least one of you is so bold.
Oh, yes, I'm very bowl-shaped. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ah! That was 1, 2, 3. Alright, so that will be -6. I'm gonna take a nap.
You're gonna take a nap?
Yeah.
No, you're not.
I'm just not sleepy enough. Alright.
Unfortunately, you are too revved by the combat adrenaline.
You cannot sleep now. There are monsters nearby.
Yeah,
Yes.
I can't sleep on command yet. I'm not a good enough Snorlax.
Though you may
That'll be
attribute
my
it
turn.
to the dragon energy that you stockpiled that is ambient in this cavern.
Maybe.
I'm sorry, I appreciate that the dice decided no, you will not rest now. There will only be battle.
The old bread and butter of Snorlax. Rest, snore, snore, tank, face tank, rest, snore, snore, face tank, face tank.
Ah, God. Is that your turn?
Yeah.
Alright. It is Tucker's turn.
Granted, in this game, you can only rest up to 3 times in normal circumstances, because resting costs a will.
True, but you can get more will.
Yeah, which is good, because it'd be lost as hell otherwise.
By the way, are people adding their 2 dice for bottom?
Oh, shoot! Yeah, you have 2 more die. Remember?
I have 2 die for everything, don't I?
Yeah.
Well,
the
the
next
next
turn.
one, I can, whatever.
Yeah.
Until
Blah, blah, blah. There. So you do rest. Never mind. Rook's confidence allows you to rest even through the battle adrenaline.
2 full rounds. Complete hill. Alright, complete hill, then rest, yeah.
Yeah. Because the heal is, I believe it's automatic as soon as you use
There we
rest.
Yeah, you guys got this. Or no, I point at him like, ha! You're not that tough. I could beat you in my sleep. As a matter of fact...
Snoring noises. Okay, so now I believe it's Tucker's turn.
I think Charem needs a moment.
Yep, that's fine. They're typed.
I hope everyone's enjoying this session.
Oh, yes.
Gotta say, despite dying round 1, it's pretty good.
Welcome to the game.
Warm welcomes all around. This was something I did think of. I just join, do a cool intro, and then immediately get destroyed. Card, could you remind me, at the first primal point, is there anything that happens, or is it the second onward?
It is the second onward that it starts leeching out of your logic score.
Okay.
Because it, you take a deduction equal to your current primal score. And when you have none, your current primal score is 0, so you just gain the primal point. After witnessing this new potential ally seemingly fall to a very strong strike, Tucker understands this dragon is not to be trifled with, which is curious how the Curlia even stood up again. But he does know that simply standing up to the dragon directly may not be the best call. Tucker will prepare a shadow sneak. He aims to get behind the Haxorus using this. That's fine. Are you preparing to do this in response to something, or are you doing it now? No. Okay. Then you may go ahead and roll for your shadow sneak. Assuming you're going to use it to attack, obviously. Okay. You may go ahead and roll for your damage.
What does priority mean?
In the system originally as it was done, priority let you use moves prior to others. As it stands, priority is a bit wibbly-wobbly. So it depends upon the context. For the most part, priority doesn't do a whole lot for us. Tucker will attempt to attack with Shadow Sneak, but from behind, then back off. Which mildly puts Tucker off the battle map, but that's fine. That is a ghost move that will have normal effect on a dragon. Tucker will focus, having not really used this move for a full combat focus until today. Using the shadows cast in this cavern proves relatively manageable, though, and he dips into the ground following a fox-like hop. Not too many moments later, the dog emerges on the other side, an almost spectral aura briefly enveloping him as he strikes the dragon alongside its thigh, then darts behind it. Are there any other moves you would like to use? Anything else you would like to do with your turn? Attacker will glance at a rather sizable dragon tail nearby and get an idea. Puffing his breath colder and colder, he'll leap up with a frosty ice fang, intending to clamp down on it. Go for it! Use that super effective! Oh, you have 2 more dice. Unless you used it on Shadow Sneak.
Does that not work on attack rolls, no?
It doesn't work on damage rolls.
Oh, damage rolls.
Because of the bravado we've got going. Yeah. So go ahead and roll those 2 extra dice. That's 5. That's a crit. Which means your total damage will be... I believe that's strength plus 4. Because I believe a crit adds 2 damage dice.
Could you remind me of the rule on crit?
For most moves, if you roll a 5 or more on the accuracy roll, it is a crit.
Got it.
And a crit will add, unless I am mistaken, 2 damage dice to your roll. In addition to anything like stab or what have you.
Okay. Thank you.
If you have a high critical move, then you only need to roll 4. And if you have high critical plus an ability like super lucky or something else, it goes down to 3. A crit is plus 2 damage dice. So that's a total of 4. Plus 1 from the super effective. Frost gathers over the Haxorus's tail as it roars in pain.
Clever little wolf, aren't you?
Tucker responds with an aggressive and probably very clever... But of course, he has clamped down the tail, so it's not very legible.
You're lucky this guy doesn't know Dragon Tail.
Just goes flying.
And Tucker is doing his patented hold on, bite and hold on thing, because that's kind of a thing he does sometimes in combat. I don't think it's ever worked out well for him, but it's still something he does instinctually. If nothing else, it's distracting. Also, that is end of turn.
Okay, which means it is the mysterious Curlia's turn. You might get to end this.
That insinuates it has low enough HP. But my character isn't meant for damage dealing, so instead I'm gonna just set up Brook. Firstly, Growl. Definitely Growl.
Okay. I believe that's your tough contest perform.
So that's 6.
Well, that works. They're a bit distracted to deal with you at the moment, but they definitely have their strength lowered.
After that, I will use the Knockdown card.
Ooh.
So that'll be 4 dice.
Alright, in which case... they're going to attempt to clash you.
Oh no.
With another Dragon Claw. And for anyone who hasn't guessed already, yes, the Haxorus has Mold Breaker.
What's Mold Breaker?
In Pokerole, it lets you ignore immunity.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Alright, so... the Curlia takes a damage, but also gets to deal a damage die in return.
I suppose, even though Knockdown doesn't do any damage.
It still has a damage roll.
It does.
It's just strength plus 0.
Oh,
It's a raw strength roll, but yeah.
missed that part. Okay, well after that, I will use Double Team to avoid more damage.
Well, let's see if you actually damage this guy first.
Did you roll a
Okay.
damage die?
16. Yes!
Nice.
So, Ryda, how do you want to push this guy over and finish the fight?
He had 1 HP,
Yes!
that was it? I was
Yes, he had 1
from the
HP!
beginning.
Tucker plinked him with Ice Fang. 1 more damage from Ice Fang would have done it.
Nice.
Well then, seeing as I started the turn with Growl, they won't actually growl. They'll just sort of and then go for the knee with their orb.
I'm sorry. Yes. Yes, Charem.
0. There was an attempt.
Oh, right! Flinched or frozen, I forgot about that. I'm sorry. There is another enemy that it partially ignores chance dice, but not this one. Okay, I'm sorry. Would you mind redoing your epic speech, Hydra?
Yes, I can redo. So, as I started the turn of growl, instead of, actually growling, they just sort of and then go for the knee with their orb and just sort of like smash it backwards. Well, not necessarily smash it backwards, but sort of like knock the side of their knee, causing them to like fall over and slam into the ground.
So you swing the orb in, it bashes into their knee, which already hurts, but you're also hitting the leg that Tucker did. So it hurts more, and the Haxorus falls off kilter and begins tilting. And there's just this brief moment of, what? Before crash! And it takes a minute for the dust cloud to clear.
And here I thought you might be weaklings.
From where they lay, the Haxorus grins.
Well then. Welcome to the Dragon's Path.
They made me feel so welcome.
I'm gonna check on something.
Tucker
briefly.
holds on to the... Tucker held on to the tail the whole crash happened. He kind of daintily lets go and drops a little bit down to the ground after he says that. Also, I do like how it crashed on top of Ryda's model. You do have to watch that when you defeat large foes in some games so they don't fall on you. Roll to dodge.
Now that the fight is over, does that mean, like, I immediately pass out?
That's exactly what I'm checking.
Oh, perfect.
Or the search function on PDF can be crap.
Usually, yeah.
Bleh. Oh wait, of course it's not in this rulebook. This is the core rulebook. Ah,
I like Farrah's statement. Some greeter, you come into this place, get attacked, and then you get the welcome. It's a dragon welcome for you.
You must prove you're worthy of a welcome.
yes, actually.
Target has gotten intense.
Another comment I like. I'm see Tucker drag the Haxorus away like a trophy but skipping a step. You mean it's like he keeps holding on until just drags him somewhere? Strong Tunker.
After you've calmed down, you'll lose. If you faint while in your primal state, you lose 1 will point from your score permanently. You have to fight again. Mercy of circumstances. Oh, okay, so you haven't fainted, so you have not gone unconscious.
Okay. Can I choose to be unconscious?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I'll let you read Brooke's thing, and then I'll do mine.
Okay. Do I look like a weakling? I take offense to that, or cuffs. He looks over to the Curlia. So, thanks for the save. It'd probably suck if I took an axe to the neck.
Ryda turns to look at Brooke and gets onto one knee, bowing in front of Brooke, and just mutters, "I am glad you are safe, mistress." And then passes up.
Florence is like poking Ralph with a stick. You don't know where he got the stick.
Yeah. So I had this crazy dream that the curly bear like bowed to Brooke and then fainted.
Oh no! Forgot that was a bang.
Oh.
Tucker briefly got absorbed by the arena mat. Bang.
Tucker fell through the arenas.
Oh no, he clipped through reality. He's back in the back rooms.
Tucker in the back rooms.
No.
We got him. Yeah, see, told you I could beat you in my sleep.
Tucker kind of pads around the giant dragon. And looks a little alarmed at the... Is Ryda fainted?
Yeah.
Yes, Ryda has gone unconscious.
I also switched to fate mode. Oops. There. Tucker kind of assesses everybody. Aside from Mysterious Curly, I suppose only Brooke took damage in that fight.
Yeah, more or less.
Well, most of you took damage, except for, like, Tucker.
Yeah.
Oh,
And it was all from clashing.
Yeah, basically they just clashed us a lot.
All right,
Anime
Ralph
clash
healed.
go.
Ralph did a rest, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, Ralph healed.
Also, I could read my own lines if you want.
Oh, sure.
Mistress, Brooke asks. Oh, jeez, they really pushed it, huh? He'll pick them up. Man, I am so confused. But I guess we have permission to move forward.
Indeed. Luxray sort of pads over to the Haxorus. Are you going to be fine?
Just fine. I wasn't expecting such fierce opposition. You'll fit in nicely here. A moment, and the ley line will have healed me.
And then they finally take notice of the fact that Noibat is there.
Why didn't you speak up? If these are your guests, we could have forgone this trial.
They grunt as they slowly start to rise to their knees. What? Trial? Nightbat looks around very confused. What? Oh, sorry. I was looking at all the trigger effects and I didn't understand them for a minute.
Yeah, I'm actually going to switch to the older models later, but that'll be later. They have more simplified states.
One thing you do notice, as the Haxorus picks itself up, is that there's this reddish energy that sort of seeps through the ground and the walls and is knitting up its wounds and healing it rather rapidly.
Tucker kind of observes this. Actually, he kind of looks a little bit nervous when the dragon stands back up. And he responds,
Trial? Guess. So this fight was a test?
Hey, don't blame Noibath. They know about as much as we do, Brooke says.
You're young. You don't smell of the path at all. I guess you've never been here. A shame. Perhaps if you had, you wouldn't be so weak.
Hey, I'm not that weak.
Really? I thought you did nothing. But I suppose it's fine. Yes, this is how we greet those who come into the path. The weak are not welcome here. And so, out of respect for the strong, we fight. That is our greeting.
I see.
I thought there was an arrangement with the library.
Also, I realize their voice is getting lighter.
it's okay, still sounds deep enough to me.
I didn't realize they would interfere like that.
Also, I missed something. Where did the mistress line come from?
That came from Rida.
Me.
Before fainting? I think I missed the
Yeah.
line.
So before fainting, they essentially said, I think it was, "I'm glad you're safe, mistress," and then passed out.
Was it obvious what direction Curly was saying that to?
She was
they
bowing to
knelt
Brooke at
in
the time,
front
so-
of Brooke. Me in front of Brooke.
Huh. Interesting. And also confusing, but interesting. Huh.
We're trying to get to the library, right?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, I can respect a test of strength, Brooke says. He looks at the Kyrio. You mean them? I don't know them. I don't think I know them, but I guess we can ask Head since we won't go there.
Well, I suppose I'm going to have to give you passage, aren't I, Archivist?
That would be appreciated. With you guiding us, I doubt we'll have problems.
Ever since this entrance's guardian died, I've been pulling double duty.
They roll their shoulders and crack their neck. It's a slightly metallic sound given the plates.
Oh well. It won't be my problem when we get to the Nexus. And you...
Florence flinches and tries to sidestep a little bit behind Ralph. Oh, hi there.
Try to stay out of the way.
And they turn around and slowly begin stomping down the dark cavern.
Well, they really do stomp. Stomp, stomp, stomp.
I feel like I'm missing half of what's going on here, Brooke says.
Tucker nods, looking still kind of hesitant about the situation.
I suppose we just gotta play by the dragon's rules for now. At least they seem honorable when you win.
Yes.
I guess. Noibet seems sour as they flap along.
Team cheer, roll out.
Yes, team cheer, no fear.
Team cheer, transform and roll out.
Tucker does a sort of half-hearted at the Team Cheer No Fear line. Tucker isn't sure about how strong he is, it seems. But he continues with everyone else.
As you stomp down the corridors, you find that occasionally there's cracks or lines in the stone that gleam with this dark scarlet light, and it illuminates bones from all kinds of dragons set into the walls, either used almost like pillars to help uphold caverns, or as if they're being put on display proudly.
That's so cool.
I forget if there was a conversation about the bones last session.
Not a very in-depth one, if I recall. Just about the ones that were in the entrance cave.
Tucker will speak up, perhaps even asking the Haxorus.
Are all those bones from dragons?
They are magnificent, aren't they?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, for sure.
They briefly pause near a skeleton of what must have been another Haxorus sticking out of the wall halfway, and they reach up to touch the axe blade tusks that are yet there.
In honor of all those before, for the betterment of those that come. I heard you earlier, by the way. It's not a matter of victory. It's a matter of strength. If you could not withstand my assault, you are not worth having here.
Check out.
Haxorus' voice reminds me of the stag from Hollow Knight. I can kind of see it. Tucker nods to this. It's notable. Is that energy that helped the Haxorus, is it still there? Is he still healing from it, so to speak?
Nope.
Okay.
His scales are pristine.
It was visible for a time, though, wasn't it?
While he was healing, yes.
Tucker will take a moment to... What did Tucker feel last session when he helped Noibat and everyone technically open the way? He acted as a bit of a conduit, so what did he find out about what he felt, that energy? And does it at all match the energy that he saw?
It does. It was a dragon-type energy. And the best way to describe it, in terms Tucker would be able to come up with and understand based on that brief interaction, is it's vast. It's almost like when Tucker first witnessed the shadow side. Not the same, but it's the same sort of vibe, just dragon.
Okay. Let me ask you this. If Tucker were to do a roll to try to put pieces together, what would that roll be? What points?
Insight, at least.
Definitely
Yeah.
insight, but...
I feel like this would be... Putting pieces together wouldn't be too hard, but understanding the actual nature of it would be very difficult with the current knowledge you have. But I would say insight, survival, nature.
Okay. That seems fair, yeah. Alright then.
Also, I forget how the stag sounds in Hollow Knight. I'll need to go back and play Hollow Knight. It's fun.
Okay. Nice and solid
Mostly
half
just
roll.
gravelly grunting.
Yeah, but like, Hollow Knight's fun. I
It's a
could use
fun
that
game.
fun. We could all use like positive fun times. Let's be honest.
This is true.
Except Godhome.
Yeah, we don't talk about the boss rush.
So I played every DLC before that one came out, so I was very happy with my experience. I missed that DLC, but I don't know if I really care I missed it.
I feel
Yeah.
like you looked at it and you gave it a try as an experiment once and didn't like it, and
Yeah.
I could not blame you.
I mean, I like
It's
boss
just
rushes
for the combat
sometimes,
people.
but yeah.
Yeah,
Which is fine.
I tried to get through it, even using mods. I couldn't.
Yeah.
So, it's difficult, and I'm a scrub. But moving on, Hollow Knight is a wonderful game. People should try it, and
So-
hopefully, Silksong comes out soon.
Hopefully, yeah. I'll definitely play that. But Tucker has been kind of listening to the Haxorus' words, and with his insight roll, with his insight how it is, and he thinks about it and considers the energies in this area and what he felt before, Tucker responds to Haxorus,
Because only the strong are allowed to benefit from the energy, right? That's why you keep out the weak.
That's a funny deduction, but no. Only dragons can benefit from this. Well, and your friend, apparently.
The Haxorus gestures over to Ralph.
Oh, yeah, guy. See.
He can eat anything.
No. We keep out the weak, because that is our philosophy. That is the right word, Archivist.
You could say that. The dragon's culture revolves around strength, the ability to survive and be strong. It what makes
It's tradition.
Yes, that's the word. Tradition.
Yay.
We are mighty, and therefore we protect and rule the world. At least that's what the Council would have you believe.
Tucker nods to this, absorbing the information.
Well, I may not be a dragon, and I can't benefit from this energy, but I still was able to see it. When we gained access here, I helped with that a little.
That explains it. I should have recognized you as Gith. This one was too weak to even gain entry. How disgraceful.
You know what, that's why he's here, to get stronger and show everyone that he could go on a mission too.
Tucker actually folds his ears at that and actually speaks a bit up.
No, that's not true at all. Noibat definitely was the one that opened this path. I simply acted as a pathway for him to do so. He may not be the strongest ever, but he is certainly still a dragon.
Yeah. I might need help now, but I can be strong. No, I can't. I'm sorry if we keep having to make you...
No, it's fine.
Dragon types are secret Illuminati. Sith, that couldn't be more wrong.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Illuminati is like, isn't that like subterfuge and doing things behind the scenes? I don't think that's a dragon thing.
It's not.
And yes, it's quite likely that Tucker actually did play a very large role in opening the path, but Tucker will happily underplay his role to give Noibat credit in this situation.
Such a good friend.
A good bean.
Also, Hydra, your character can remain unconscious as long as you want them to.
Yeah, I was just sort of waiting for a good point to interject.
That is fair. I'm just making sure you know. I'm not enforcing any sort of, like, you're unconscious for 8 hours rule or anything.
Yeah, because this was self-induced.
Because I know, as storyteller, I can take some amount of control if you go primal and get knocked out.
Yeah, in fact, if it wasn't clear, Tucker didn't bring up, oh yeah, I helped open the pathway as like some sort of ego thing, but more of an admission, a statement of, oh, I did interact with your energy, despite you saying I can't use it. Just letting you know. Like, he was just trying to be polite to explain that. Like, hopefully that's not a problem, sort of thing.
True, but interaction isn't the same as use.
Yes, true.
So. Also, it's almost 9. My mate is up at the moment, but it would be prudent to remind everybody to drink water, posture check, stretch. I'm going to use the bathroom, so, like, 5 minutes.
Totally fair.
Yep, 5 minutes. Everybody stick around. We're not going far.
I guess I'll
But
eat the noodles. You wanted me to eat the noodles, so I'll eat the noodles.
Eat your food! I thought you ate it while I was recapping.
No. I usually use the recap to try to sort some stuff on the table, so.
Eat your food.
I actually had some noodles during the fight. Noodle caboodle.
Eat your food, puppy.
And yes, to be completely honest with the chat while we take this break and while Kyrio types, yeah, I didn't actually notice Haxorus's build just being completely... It's just a fat tail of fat thighs. He is so bottom heavy, holy crap. I do like Haxorus, it's a good Pokemon. I don't really think about them that much, but it's a good dragon type. Would say good boyfriend material, but with the axe blades, I don't know if that'd be good to smooch.
Maybe if you had your own axe blades.
I feel like that'd be more of a weapon clash than a smooch at that point. No, I didn't say that. I said he's bottom heavy. Where's your mind going?
Oh, dude, the Haxorus secretly being a bottom. This great shame, no one must know.
Okay, I'm back.
Hello.
Okay, back.
Oh, you're fine, Kyrio. It's not that noisy.
Oh no. Sith, you should probably take a break and get fresh air.
Yeah,
If
no
you're painting
kidding. Like,
D&D tokens and-
seriously, if you're doing a painting job in an enclosed room, maybe take a break out of it.
Yeah. Also, I'm not worried about the background carrying.
Yeah, it's fine. Dinner? Well, that's a logical noise. I hope it's a good dinner.
Yes. But yes, when everybody is back, we can resume.
I'm still here. I was
Yep.
eating cookies.
Ooh. Yum.
Oreos, to be specific.
One of the better cookies, in my opinion.
I saw a Tubby mic up.
I think Tub's still here. I love the logical... I love how people misunderstood me, and now there's a conversation off of that misunderstanding point.
That's not a conversation to have during stream.
Yeah, you guys can have that one, but maybe not here.
Yeah, like, I'm not opposed to that conversation personally.
If you're wondering how it happened, it's because I said that Haxorus was bottom heavy, and then somebody said, "Oh, what's that about him being a bottom?" I was like, "Nope, that's not what I said. That's not what I said."
But yes. Just confirming that Tubby is here.
Yeah, I guess we'll wait for him to say something to confirm.
Yeah. Once I get the confirmation that Tubby is back. Goodness. I'll be honest, I'm not super fond of Haxorus's design,
Yeah?
but it's one of those designs that over time it's like, yeah, this isn't so bad.
What part don't you like about him?
The arms,
They look a little stiff, don't they?
they look a bit buggy for a non-bug dragon.
Beerus will get mad now. Oh, you're saying bug is bad? No. No, I agree though. It kind of looks
Yeah.
like a buggy segmentation.
Yet it looks like a bit of a mismatch.
Yeah.
And I'm not super fond of the head design, but it's not something I'm against.
I don't. The axe thing feels a little overdone. It feels a little too.
I
Too
prefer
aggressive, but-
overdone axe thing to making it look like a vehicle.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I actually
What-
kind of like how the head's neck's done, where it kind of looks like they're wearing kind of a helmed garb. I do actually kind of like the style of that. I think it looks nice. Like how it connects to the neck, the bottom of the neck to the chest. Kind of looks like a helmet's put on. I kind of like that style.
It looks like a bunch of spiky plate armor, which
Yeah.
I can appreciate.
I appreciate the design of that. It works well with the deck style. I think the axes are a little insane, but I get what they're going for with that. It's kind of like there is an actual animal that has backward tusks like that. I can't remember what it was. So it's not like it's out of the realm of possibility or anything.
Yeah, it looks a bit weird, but it's not bad. Sadly, I think it means that Haxorus cannot kiss things.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
I said while you were gone that it would be good boy for material, except for can't really smooch.
Yeah, requires covers on them axe blades.
The most dangerous smooch.
Forbidden smooch.
Forbidden smooch.
For our anniversary, I got you axe blade cozies.
At least the cars can relate they can't hug. I mean, that's fair.
It's true. Just don't hug this one from behind. You might get hit by the upper spike of this.
That's true, too. Just hug thighs, that's the softest part. At least from the looks of it, anyways.
Does anyone know where Tubby went, by the way?
I don't even think he said he was gonna go. Ah, there he is!
There you are.
Yeah, I thought I was back. I'm just not very loud.
Okay, I'm sorry. I did not hear you the first time. Like, you mic'd up and nothing was heard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no! No! He fell over. I was trying to adjust.
Alright, in which case, Kyrio, do you want to read the line, or shall I? Okay.
Okay.
No worries, Kyrio. I understand. Strength is very useful, but pointless if you don't have the will to use it, Brooke says. Moibet at least has the will to apply himself, and try and build himself up. Not even dragons are born strong.
True. But it's still a shame that they're at such an age, and they haven't the strength to enter on their own.
I can't help I wasn't raised by other dragons.
Another shame, but not necessarily as disgraceful as a lack of strength.
Tucker pipes up.
Well, it seems that strength requires direction. I don't think Noibot's had a lot of that.
You really shouldn't pay much mind to this culture of strength. Survival of the fittest can only go so far in a world like ours. Luxray states as they briefly bypass Noibat. You are you. Same as anyone else is themselves. Except for Florence, because Florence is more than himself. I'll take that as a compliment. He'll get there regardless. He'll get there regardless, as long as he wants it, Brooke says. We're strong enough to help. He winks at my dad. Noibat smiles and is actually mildly overwhelmed by the amount of support. They
Sounds a bit
squeak.
like me.
Come again,
I'm
Hydra?
sorry.
Oh, I just said it sounds a bit like me, because when I show off art and everyone's like, ooh.
Support.
Support. Yeah. Noibat squeaks and flaps a bit faster to catch up as you all continue. The cavernous tunnels seem to wind and bend, but you only ever seem to be moving forward for a very long time. Though you do pass what appear to be branches in the ceiling. And then, as you're moving, you realize there's like large bracing ribcage bone pillars below you and above you. So it's almost like you're walking on a wall. Mildly disorienting. Because what is up and down?
On the fucking ground.
What is this place exactly? Are we even still on the Plains continent? Brooke wonders.
You came here with an archivist, and you don't know. You should explain it, Luxury. I've not the mind for it.
Oh, you could be a tour guide.
I wouldn't exactly call myself a tour guide. Though I can't exactly blame this poor Haxorus for pushing up the responsibility to me. We are within the world, in a metaphysical sense. These are the dragon's veins, ley lines, the path. They wind everywhere in the world. That is why the dragons guard it. From within the path, you can go anywhere if you know how and have the will. Though I notice that there's a distinct lack of certain elements from the last time I was here. Has something changed?
Not that I know. Then again, I only just happened to feel you enter and came this way. So, if something has changed, I'm not the one to ask.
Tucker kind of gives a side look to the Lux Ray.
Elements? What kind of elements?
It's difficult to explain. Suffice to say, it's a bit darker here than last I was in the path.
One of the best shows ever.
Usually, if the environment of the path has changed, then that means something in the balance of power among the council has changed. Generally speaking,
It's not the politics that's making
you wouldn't think that the Lord of Stasis would permit that.
Indeed. But it is as it is. I will not speak for them, as we are coming upon the chamber.
Also, Gryda can wake up whenever at this point.
Okay, I'll just wake up now then. Who exactly is carrying them?
Brooke.
Appropriate, a Bagon has appeared. And yes, Brooke is carrying Ryder right now.
That is appropriate, actually.
So as they slowly regain consciousness, they will just sort of look, see that they're being carried, just tap Brooke on the shoulder twice for Brooke to stop moving, and just politely get down.
Brooke stops and lets them
The
down.
Mexican Joker.
Hey, are you alright?
Yes, I am fine now. Voice not working.
It's okay.
You'll get into the voice after a while.
Yeah.
Well, Kyrio is typing a response. Noibet is actually going to address the Haxorus, fluttering up closer to their head.
Hey, so if what Luxor is saying is true, didn't you lie to us earlier?
Why would I need to lie? After all, you passed the trial, and I'm not some conniving serpent.
But you said you guys defend this place so only the strong can be here.
And? Do you think the weak, the cowardly, and the craven, and the wicked ought to be able to freely traverse the world?
Oh. Well, I guess when you put it that way.
I see you have much to learn.
Brooke nods to Ryder. We'll talk soon. For now, let's keep going. He smiles and continues.
They nod and just respond. Very well then. I would also like to use Heal Pulse on Brooke as we sort of keep walking.
Oh, okay. Well, you can spend a will. I don't think I'll
Okay.
make you roll accuracy for that.
I'll just spend the will.
Tucker, ever the observational pooch, will make note of both of those conversations. He gives special curiosity to Ryder, though. Well, not that we know their name yet. I don't think the name's been said yet, right?
Not once.
Okay.
Not,
He gives
not
special.
once.
He gives special note to the Curlia, really wondering, and kind of gives them that side look that dogs do when they're like observing something. He really doesn't have any idea where this Curlia came from. None of them do, really, but indeed, as Brooke says, they'll talk soon. He keeps his mouth shut for the moment, though he has questions he potentially could ask. As to the other conversation, Tucker does process that and acknowledges, yeah, that makes sense not to allow the weak through wherever they are. The pooch actually wonders if they're even on the same planet while here.
Whoa. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Whoa, thanks. That really wasn't necessary, but good to know, Brooke says.
Am I supposed to roll anything, or is it just they get flat 1 health?
Oh, no, as I recall, that's basic heal, right?
I believe so.
Oh, we had a page with
Wow, it doesn't actually say. There's plenty of room. They could have put that on the card. Jeez. All right. Well.
Oh gosh, yeah, it's on page 56.
No, it's fine. Don't put that information on the card. Just make them look it up.
Yeah, that's troublesome.
Though actually, it should be on our legend, right?
Yeah, roll dice equal to half your HP.
Yeah.
So you get 4 dice worth of heal back.
This move can heal HP. Sometimes it's a fixed number. Wow! What time is that? I guess when it has a number on it. All healing moves cost 1. Otherwise, for more
cool.
Wow, the legend actually doesn't tell you.
Guess what? Lucky champ.
Thanks, legend. So yeah,
So it's
this
just
is
like-
okay.
Yeah,
I should copy this onto the legend as well. Then
yeah.
you know they could have
Yeah,
just put a 1/2 or a full next to these icons. You know that would have been possible.
I don't understand why. Like, I don't know of any move that heals a fixed number. Like, what move heals a fixed number?
I don't
I've
know.
not
I haven't.
seen one.
I haven't seen one either.
Swallow does.
Oh, it does?
Okay.
Okay, that's like the only move I know of then.
Yeah, I literally grabbed this legend because it provided all information, but I like how it's like, oh, for this though, instead of providing the information, just see this page. If it's not even that complex, they could have just said it. Could this be?
Oh well.
Okay, I'll stop ranting about the developers of the book.
We do it a lot, and we know they've improved a lot. I'm sure, like, all that stuff has actually been fixed in 2.0.
Somewhat? Oh, what? Oh, I was putting the book away.
I actually accidentally grabbed Tucker.
Oh, it's okay. How dare you grab Tucker without asking?
I was just trying to give them a pet. But I should note, you are now coming across a more even cave tunnel. It's more even in its diameter, is a good way to put it, and set in pairs along the walls are dragon-type skulls with scarlet torchlight in their eye sockets, serving to light the way.
Yeah, I know what it is.
Oh, Leech Seed does? And Aqua Ring? I guess there's more than I thought. But remember, those are moves I don't look at often. But Charem is right, that could have just literally been on the legend. Do dragons get to choose if they're a wall pillar or a lamp when you die? I think that's... So, you can probably ask that. You can probably ask that. I don't want to answer that out of character. Actually, I kind of want to react.
Brooke asked, when you die, what kind of decoration do you become?
So, do you get to choose if you're a wall pillar or a lamp when you die? Rook asks.
Usually we're set in a place that best befits us. A way where we can be shown off. Those here.
They briefly pause and lightly tap one of the skulls that's on the that's on the wall, which looks kind of like it would be a Charizard skull, surprisingly. Also, screw anyone who says Charizards are dragons.
Honorary. At the very least.
These were attendants to the council. So their bones are put to more. Archivist, what's the word?
Utilitarian use.
That. But our bones are shown off as a point of pride. Our strength in life and in death. Besides, it's fun seeing how weaker Pokemon are unsettled by the sight.
I mean, I guess it's creepy. Noibat alights on the skull. I don't know. I'm getting kind of used to it at this point.
As you should.
Tucker speaks up and says,
I might have found it kind of creepy at one point, but after feeling that energy, I think I kind of understand it. It helps maintain the energy to have these displays, to have everyone around dead or alive, right?
You're perceptive. It's true. Dragon bones are steeped in condensed dragon energy. In a way, this tradition of theirs helps stabilize the dragon's path. The Haxorus looks further down the tunnel a moment. It is a little morbid at first, but I do like the effect, Brooke says.
The council chamber is that way.
He points down the tunnel, so it looks to be a more open, lit chamber.
I would be wary. They are not liable to be kind to you.
When are they kind to any?
True enough. But you do have that flippin' bard with you.
Oi, I ain't caused any trouble yet!
Yet.
At least it's good to know I'm a bit famous around here. Still.
Oh, you did something before.
Nothing that terrible.
Oh, do tell, do tell. Was it super annoying for the dragons?
Let's just be on our way,
Oh,
shall we?
I know. You're a bard. You tried to have a night with one of them, didn't you?
What?
Yeah, what?
Yeah, Noibet stares at Ralph in utter confusion, and the Haxorus just gives Ralph a bit of a look.
But you know, that's what bards do, right? When they just like you have this attraction to dragons, particularly really big ones, and it don't usually go good for the bard, but you know they try anyway.
Tucker, ever innocent, just says,
I thought they were more attracted to stories. I don't understand.
Let's just keep moving, Brooke says. Oh, that might be best. And Ralph just pats, Florence just pats Ralph's back. Good effort! Unfortunately, whatever literature has filled your head is a bunch of tripe.
Ralph remembering D&D memes.
Yeah, when nobody else can, and it doesn't exist here, it's kind of great and terrible.
I don't know what you are referring to.
That can be explained later.
Yeah, probably. It's easy to play a clueless Tucker, because that's off of my state too.
Aw. I guess that means I do a good job, Sith. I'm glad I can be that good. In any case, Haxorus leads you into a large open chamber which almost seems like it's a nexus of several of these tunnels given the various openings. And there is this huge scarlet gem cluster hanging from the ceiling and just veins of it permeating the rock everywhere. And inside this gem cluster are what looks to be the bones of a truly massive dragon. Of a type that none of you will recognize.
Oh, that one's huge. What's that one?
You ask, but don't exactly get much of an answer at the moment, as the Haxorus leads you up towards a raised stone dais, where Reshiram, Zekrom, and Charem are.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Council, I bring with you guests seeking passage to the library by the looks.
Also, yes, I understand it probably would have been better to give you some warning so we could have the models, but also there's so many models right now.
Well, hold on a second. I think they're all Gen 5, so let me...
Nope. Yeah, that's a good map to just still have.
Okay. Sells are mats if you want to.
Yeah, I'll look at them.
I guess it's a good time to actually use this.
I'll move people back a bit.
Well, these are the older models, which is good because it means there's no silly basis to have to deal with. Did I grab the right Kyrio? I did not. Hold on. There we go. There are 3 Kyrios, in fact.
Yes, because it can merge with Zekrom or Reshiram.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, they're bags. So downside is they won't make noise. Upside is that they don't have the annoying bases to work with.
Ah, well that's fine. I believe this is relatively fine.
How they big? I'll bring it down just a bit, just for the sake of space.
Just let me know when they're ready for me to grab.
That's good.
Yes, they are big. They're also all legendaries.
They kind of have to be big.
Also, what is with giving dragons T-Rex arms, by the way?
What's
I
that?
don't understand. Because Kyurem has tiny arms, and that seems like a thing among dragons for some reason.
The T-Rex thing. To be fair, Zekrom totally does not.
True, Zekrom and Reshiram don't, but, like, it's more common than I appreciate.
I agree. It feels like a lot of dragons don't have a lot of fullness to their arms. I guess is the best way to put it.
Four-legged dragons.
Why is everyone afraid of putting four-legged dragons? I know, right?
Because it's more to animate. It's easier to make a wyvern.
I'm okay with two-legged dragons too, but I do like the four-leggeds.
Yeah, four-legged Western-style dragons that are quadrupedal.
At least Elden Ring had a gamut of styles. That's true. Yes. Pardon me?
This is the best
Why?
four-legged dragon Pokemon. I mean, Salamence exists, but I was always kind of whatever with Salamance's design. They're okay, I guess. But I thought you were a thigh guy. I am, but you can have them with four-legged dragons too. Thighs, in fact, exist on four-legged and two-legged animals.
So who's going to become an acolyte of one of the dragons? Good question. So we have felt. You are dismissed. Reshiram looks down upon the Haxorus imperiously. No, they will stay. Static fills the air as Zekrom interjects. We may have need of them to dispose of these intruders. Intruders? They passed the greeting trial, have they not? They are strong enough to withstand our kind. Though they need passage to the library, I would question their intent. intent. I'll tell you their intent. And, Kurum seems to let out a sigh, and the room chills greatly. We sensed you. The poison you bring. The very poison that has robbed us of the Lord of Balance. Lord of Stasis, you cannot mean. Impossible. They were dealt with. You must be mistaken. We must ask the Lord of Skies first, to be sure. The Lord of Skies will not come down from their perch. Do you want to waste our time by going to Siraculous Apps? And further still. Archivist, why did you allow that library dweller to interfere? It was sudden. I understand the agreement, but it was not a planned encounter. Please, Lord of Flame, Lord of Thunder, and Lord of Stasis, we only seek passage. And I want to wait for Kyrio's response.
Quite fair.
Gotta say, love the 3 dragon dynamic.
This has always been an interesting trio. Well, I wouldn't call them my favorite designs. I do like how they're different from each other.
Wagon.
While the discussion goes on, Tucker does seem to be a little more guarded now. His ears kind of flattened at this conversation of what to do about them.
I'm gonna nudge Florence and I'm gonna whisper. It seems like this conversation is starting to drag on.
Florence is trying desperately not to stick her, and he's nudging you back. They shouldn't be cracking jokes right now, mate. Zekrom snaps its head, looking over at Ralph, trying to squint past the bulk of Snorlax that Florence has expertly hid himself behind.
Ralph, even the face of freaking gods being Ralph. Well said.
Expect any different?
Wolf, you're silly. Goodness.
I've been waiting to use these guys for a while.
Well, I certainly wasn't expecting them.
Smile and wave when he's lit back. He's lame.
Ralph, Tubby, I think you ate your mic a little bit there. I caught about 40% of that.
Shouldn't be, because I'm using the mic on the laptop. Hey, Ralph, just smile and wave.
Yeah, you're doing fine.
Okay. Brooks line exists.
Brooke steps forward and kneels. Counsel, I don't know what poison it is you're afraid of, but I swear our only intent is to get to the library and help Shane, and maybe learn more about what hurt them.
Tucker will also step forward at the same time and basically do the same action and kneel on his forelegs. He'll add to that.
We were given the suggestion of passage by Articuno.
That trickster bird. Of course. Though one wonders how you survived that encounter. No, it was a matter of gratitude. These must be the ones that helped it reclaim the territory that one of those things stole. Supposedly, they could have been in league with it. It is a risk we cannot take. Call Eternatus. At the mention of that name, both Zekrom and Reshiram recoil and shudder.
What was the name?
Eternatus.
Is that the one from...
That is the one from Sword and Shield.
Yeah.
My lords, that won't be necessary. They are strong, certainly, but they are not a threat to the path. I will vouch for it. On my honor and pride.
You say, but you are young. You were not here when the Lord of Balance locked the dead stars, acolytes, from the path. We cannot risk that again. It's true. But could we not simply send them on their way? Is it worth the risk? If they are a threat and merely playing nice, think of the damage they could do to the library. But then wouldn't they be the library's problem? They have their own who would take care of it.
Yeah, I mean, you could keep one of us as a hostage if it'll make you feel better. I trust you would let us go after we didn't hurt anything.
Florence pokes his head out. Ralph, that's not a good plan. Zekrom spots them.
I'm sure they'll go for it.
Indeed.
Perhaps we should take that acolyte. Troublesome bard.
Hey. Hello, your lordships.
Don't worry, we'll come back for you if they take you hostage.
I'm gonna do a roll for myself.
Poor bud. I didn't mean for that to inconvenience him, but that's how it be sometimes.
Okay.
I mean...
Tucker may well say another word, but leader gets priority.
I have a question. How much reputation do I have in the library?
In the library? Not here?
Yeah.
In the library? Not a ton. You are a known quantity in the library, but since you... Like, as far as I know, since you haven't done terribly much, it's not like you are an important staff figure or anything.
Okay, because if I'm barely known there, these guys definitely don't know me, which should be good.
They do not.
Great.
For what reason would they have to know you? You're not important.
Is that everything? Okay.
If Florence is willing to stay, I can promise we'll be back for you. And honestly, it'd be a fun story. Brooke grins at the bard. Florence narrows his eyes at Brooke.
I was hoping to get to the library.
Tucker takes an extra step forward.
Hold on a second. You said that thing when talking about Articuno. Yes, we dealt with the imposter. And if that thing is what you're scared of, or things related to it, we've dealt with a few things like that. We've always opposed it.
Sorry, go ahead, Charm.
That was kind of the last line.
Yeah.
Tucker. Point out
Okay.
that we fought numerous things like that and opposed it.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was gonna jump in and correct that. No, dragons aren't scared of those things. Cautious, maybe, but definitely not scared. Not these guys. I mean, if we weren't scared, then these guys definitely aren't scared.
Tucker will actually motion to Ralph.
Ralph, your hat. You got a gift.
Yes, I did. Yeah, check it out. Yeah, after the Articuno, the real Articuno offered us rewards. I got one of his feathers. Check it out.
It's certainly proof of your encounter with them. And at least a positive interaction. And you certainly know how to flatter, at least. Though stoking the dragon's pride in us will do you no good.
It's true, though.
If you want a different hostage, I mean, if you feed me, I'll totally be a hostage.
Tucker speaks around Ralph for a moment.
Okay, well, let me do Brooke's line.
Okay.
It's true, though. The shaman we're trying to help was attacked by one of them, Brooke says. And I can corroborate this. They've been staying where I have been.
The shaman's been corrupted. Of a sort. And it's not the only Pokemon we've seen like that. There's also Vespiquen. I don't know if everything involves the same things, but these things that you're scared of, maybe it's the same things we've been dealing with left and right. We've only tried to help, and our merits can speak for themselves.
I can sense their idealism, Lord of Stasis. Their fervor is true. They are speaking the truth. It matters not if you fight them. You already are infected with its poison. You are marked as an acolyte would be. They see it as I do, but turn their eyes blind. However, Kyrio takes a step back. I am outvoted. It is on their heads now. But no, if you invite the Dead Star here, there will not even be fragments of you left. Thank you, my lords. I will guide them. No, you shall not. And I'll let poor Kyrio type.
Yes, Tucker may have one more line, but again, I'm going to wait turn. Also, it is worth noting, Tucker is completely aware of the power levels of these guys. If anybody can sense that sort of thing, it's him. So he doesn't like speaking up against them, but he also doesn't let something lie if it's wrong.
So I should note that, yeah, Tucker, you know that going up against them would be a terrible idea. Florence and Luxray already know that's a terrible idea. Noibat knows that's a terrible idea by default. Haxorus knows that's a terrible idea by default. Ralph, probability gives you a very low percentage of victory chance.
Yeah,
But
I
Tucker
know
is...
it's a terrible idea, but Jerry's still out on if I do it anyway.
Tucker, meanwhile, whenever possible, he'll go against somebody with a conversation, not with a fight. And anybody can win a conversation regardless of power levels, if they do it right. So
So what does the Scotter say about their power?
see, diplomacy doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your strength level is if you're trying diplomacy, basically. Though it can influence it.
Yeah.
We're acolytes, but not by choice, Brooke says impatiently. We didn't ask for these powers, but we have them, and we'll use them to fight for what we believe in, he says adamantly. But we have a name for our enemy now, and for that, thanks. Name? No. It isn't nameless. We call it such that we do not invite it in. The tenuous barriers that lock it away. We would not dare undo the work of the Lord of Balance.
While Brooke responds, what Fair said, except Tucker probably knows when to keep his mouth shut. For the most part, Tucker will keep his mouth shut, listen to everything somebody has to say, and if at that point he's concluded that there's something wrong there, he will speak up. But he'll generally let somebody else talk first to make sure he completely understands their point of view before he challenges it.
I mean, I didn't exactly challenge anything. I'm just like, hey, it'd make you feel better you take a hostage. He was kind of, trying to sacrifice himself, but then the dragons are like, yeah, I'll take the board. He's like, no, okay.
Honestly, Brooke, if it's a Brooke thing to say, go ahead. Tucker will probably back it up if it's not wrong.
Which, by the way, Zekrom and Reshiram are now just sort of off, not off to the side, but they're like, aside from the main conversation, they're like bickering now who's going to take you all to the library, completely ignoring the fact that Luxray is there, and Zekrom is really pushing to have Florence as a hostage.
I'm glad to see them taking my suggestion seriously.
I already know what he's going to type. I know what he's going to say. I think I know what he's... Exactly. I knew it. I knew it would be a reference to that.
Oh, no!
No, Tucker was already thinking it.
Oh, wonderful. Hang on, give me a second. I need to stop giggling. Well, it seems it's not as locked away as you hoped, Brooke says, getting a little testy. Things are happening out there while you're hiding in here. Some strength you all have. What? You dare? Enough. Silence, the both of you. You think we are hiding? You are wrong. What do you propose happens when we move? The world is remade when legendaries congregate. When gods strike, mountains are made and demolished. The world is set to chaos. Undone and remade.
But there are other dragons here. Like Haxorus. You could send others out to help, around the world. You have access points everywhere.
And you think they do not? What the protectors of the entryways do is not our business. That they do their duty is, and this one has. You have no understanding what transpired centuries ago. So we will forgive your
outburst. Our Lord must remain in the font. Elsewise, the Dead Star may gain access, and then all is lost.
Each and all have duties here.
You think we are statues, but you could not be more wrong.
Then connect with the guilds around the continents. Make delegates. Work with others outside of here. If you need to protect this place, that's fine. But you could still connect with outsiders, like you did with the Librarians. I don't know what relationship you have with them, but...
It's not the same, Tucker. The library is secluded. The only outward path to the tower is through the Dragon's Path. It was constructed that way specifically. A haven for those who seek knowledge. Even we don't have full understanding or information on what the Council speaks. And I can't claim to know any better. But if they are saying that they are unwilling to take a large risk, I would believe them. Let's go, Rook says. We're not getting anywhere here. Like always, we'll get by on our own. If it pleases the Council, I will lead them. And assuredly, this Curlia here will be capable of leading as well. I still want to take the Bard as a hostage, an assurance. Will that be entirely necessary? No, but it will be pleasant.
My lords, I shall go.
Yes, you shall. Return to your life, Haxorus. Hesitantly, the Haxorus begins to leave, casting concerned looks your way.
Give a thumbs up to assure him we got this.
If I may ask, what has happened to the Lord of Skies? Would they not normally be an arbiter here? The Lord of Skies is holed up in their roost. I would assume that the appearance of more of the Dead Star's acolytes must mean they're searching. If you suggest you're going to disturb them, we would suggest not. Mere curiosity, I promise you. As is common amongst your kind, go. The Lord of Stasis will not be patient forever. I understand. We thank you for your time, your patience, and your magnanimity. After looking around briefly, Luxray indicates one of the tunnel passages branching off from the council chamber. We'll go this way. It will keep us furthest from the realm of the Warden.
Ryda will give a nod to the council and follow suit.
Yeah, I will follow follow the team.
Brooke bows one last time. Your Highnesses. And leaves.
Tucker will sigh as the party leaves. He will bow one more time himself, though much less sarcastically.
You're right. We don't know everything. And clearly you know a lot more. We'll try to keep learning.
And he will leave after saying that.
See to it you learn much where you go. Hapless little vessels. Or you will end up in a place more terrible than this.
In spite of the frigid tone of Kyriom's voice, they almost seem sympathetic.
Tucker will turn and read the face of that dragon. He will get an icy look back. Not one of aggression of any or anything, but he will simply respond,
I know what they can do. I've seen it myself. I've connected with it myself. It's not something that will happen to us. I'll make sure of that.
You do not know, but I will let you think you do. Be gone, child.
Thank you for your kindness, your lordships. We'll just be on our way, as Florence is trying to push Noibet and Ralph along the way to follow Luxray. Just forced grin and everything. Noisy acolyte. Pray that you keep yourself better hidden when next you pass through here. As we know you shall. Oi, Luxray, can we move faster?
As soon as we're like kind of out of earshot and down the tunnel or down the way, you know, I think that went very well. I feel like we did a good job right there.
That went absolutely terribly, and I'm surprised we're still alive, but really glad. I feel like I wasn't breathing that entire time.
Tucker kind of does a long sigh.
Well, diplomacy doesn't get you everywhere. Brooke, that wasn't the right thing to say. Even if I don't disagree with it all.
Hey, we're going where we need to, Brooke says. Mission success.
Tucker does a half-hearted grin at that.
I guess. It's just a shame that strong Pokemon don't always listen to good advice. But then again, they're right in that we don't know a lot. We gotta keep learning.
Yeah,
I would like to chime in if possible.
Yeah.
So after Tucker finishes the statement, Ryder will just say, "It was quite foolish to believe you had any chance of reasoning with them."
Tucker actually does a little snark at that.
Well, it doesn't mean I'm not gonna try. That's what I do.
A futile effort.
It's only futile when you stop trying.
Don't sweat the small stuff, Tuck, Brooke says. That's why we're going to the library.
He casts a slightly critical view at Brooke, kind of,
I wouldn't call the dragons small, but you're right.
Yeah, I'm a small dragon. They're huge! Wow, I didn't think I'd ever refer to myself as small and not feel bad about it. By the way, who are you? Brooke asked the Curlio.
I guess it's two for 2020 questions. Here we go. First one. Apologies for not introducing myself more properly. I am Ryder.
Ooh, what do you ride?
The first thing for this name is this.
It's so
I do not ride anything.
Would you like to?
Not particularly.
Okie dokie.
That joke went right over their head.
Nice to meet you, Ryder. Brooke says. I'm Brooke.
I am well acquainted with all of you. Ralph, Tucker, and of course, Mistress Brooke.
Mistress?
So we're finally famous?
Wait,
Tucker-
I thought Brooke was a guy.
Tucker cocks his head at the end of that one, thinks for a moment. Let's see what Brooke has to say.
No, Neubart. We need to be supportive of our friends, however they identify themselves. After all, I identify as a bard. This only confuses Neubart further, by the way. Well... Brooke rubs his head. Can you not call me mistress? I'm definitely a boy.
I'll wait for Kyrio to respond before I say anything else.
I can guess what you might think otherwise, but let's not worry too much about it.
Apologies. Would my liege serve you better?
Oh, Brooke, you hit the jackpot on this one.
Boy, Luxray, are all the runs in the library this strange? She's starting
I
to
can
sound like
assure
those
you I am
nightly...
not.
Oops, sorry.
I can assure you I am a rather unique case.
And here I thought you were one of them nightly types. Unfortunately, I am unfamiliar with this one. Ryder must have been a new arrival after I had left.
Why did you jump in to help us? And all this leech stuff. Is Brooke royalty and I didn't know?
Should I respond to Tucker first or wait for you to read Kyrio's
I
thing?
feel like that's saying something what Brooke said.
Well, okay. I'm not royalty or anything, Brooke says, holding his hands up. Just Brooke is fine. Why are you addressing me like that? I should probably put the council away. You go into your closet.
It appears my memory is not the only one who is faulty. No matter. I shall address you however you desire.
Tucker's question probably came alongside Brooke's statement, so...
What was the question again?
Basically, why did you help us?
Give me 1 second to think of a response.
Okay.
So after responding to Brooke, Ryda turns to Tucker and responds, "I was only doing my duty."
Duty, huh? Are you part of a team in addition to librarians? Or the archivists?
I should probably have Luxray answer this. The response that Ryda had to what Brooke said was,
Seems I'm not the only one with a bad memory, basically.
Yeah, I'm not the only one whose memory is faulty. I shall address you however you wish.
They'd be saying you forgot something.
But Luxray does answer Tucker's question. As far as I'm aware, there isn't any sort of... How would I put it? Servile sub-organization within the library. At least not one that is not the archivist.
Huh. Well, we appreciate your help all the same. Even if I don't completely understand why you're helping.
Better clarify, my duty is to serve and protect Brooke.
Florence smirks and gives Brooke, like, that look with the raised eyebrows going, and just wiggles them.
Tucker, well, just go ahead and say a few words while Brooke works on this.
Well, I want to protect Brooke too, but that's what a team does. Does that mean you want to join the team?
I am so confused, Brooke says. But, welcome to the team, I guess. I think we have a lot to discuss. If I may, it would probably be best to continue this discussion in the library. We're more liable to be safe there. Since we only have Neubat in attendance, we might accidentally get mistaken for trespassers again. And I would very much rather you not have to fight anyone else who's looking to greet you. Yes, it's also getting a little late. Besides, if there's even a remote possibility that Eternatus is lurking about, it will be best if we leave soon. If the Warden catches us, we'll certainly be incarcerated.
That sounds like a bad word. Let's not do that.
Oh right, that's a really big word that Tucker probably wouldn't know.
Exactly.
Luxray used big words. It was super effective.
Tucker is very mature for his age, but if you throw really big words at him, he might be confused.
In Karkarel, huh? Wait, Luxray, no! Come back! Tell me what that means!
So it means thrown in jail, but like officially thrown in jail, not just like someone, throws you in a dungeon. Which is probably closer to what we'd have.
There's a jail in here?
Damn it, probably look how huge it is.
Well, if there is one, I don't think I want to see it.
I echo that statement mostly.
Mostly.
Look, he's curious. He likes to collect stories. Anyway.
I
So,
had the impression that mostly was because he's seen it before.
so Luxury begins leading you down another of the dragon's paths. And eventually, you reach another terminating point, like the one you started at, where there seems to be a dragon skeleton in the floor. But this one seems to be encased in a familiar-looking amethyst. We're here. At the risk of attracting more ire from the council, will you do as you did before? Or rather, perhaps I should ask, Ryda, will you open for us the way?
Very well, then. And then they will just proceed to open the way, however that is done.
As Ryda moves to step onto the amethyst floor with everyone, I bet I could do it. Noibat sort of sulks and ends up landing on Tucker again, being pouty.
Tucker also looks a little disappointed. He starts stepping forward, hoping to help yet again, but he supposes as if there's an easier way.
Like, Luxury thought about it and was okay with you guys trying, and then realized, oh wait, we have a new person with us who actually can do this just fine.
Well, he's curious watching somebody who's not a dragon open it.
So, Ryda, you end up focusing your psychic energy, and the amethyst begins to glow beneath you all. And a pattern, like an elaborate glyph, lights up.
Ooh. I'm gonna take note and try to memorize that.
You know what? Sure. Given it's only going to be available briefly, and this might be the last roll of the session, go ahead and do... I would say Insight, Survival, Logic.
What's Tubby doing?
Alright. I'm gonna try and memorize this glyph, as I'm only briefly...
Yeah, you're only gonna see it for like maybe 3 seconds.
Fair.
It's part of why I'm giving you such a big pool.
Bada bing!
Well, it helps that you're staring at it, so it's probably burned on your retinas a little bit for, what will probably be the next minute or two. But, that said, there is a sudden flash, just like before, and a sound like shattering. And you find yourselves in a large, cylindrical room.
Yeah.
I believe we can change music. This would be in locales, I think.
Do you have a mat in mind, by the way?
I do not. I should have thought about that. I was busy storytelling.
That is okay. Just wondering if that was one of the things you thought of in advance. I'll help you with that then. Hold on. Wait, actually, that's not the right... What button is it to flip? Oh, right, it's F. Ah, not there.
Oh, it's not in locale. Of course it wouldn't. Number 15. Same list as Dragon's Path.
Okay. I'll change it in a second. I'm looking for that.
Ralph is going to science out how magic works. I would not be surprised.
Magitech, here we go.
Let's see. What do you want for this? If there is indeed something that fits.
I can foresee a conversation where Ralph is talking about magic and Ryda's like, magic doesn't exist. It's only science.
I apologize. I'm doing that while looking at the bag. I don't know why it's doing both. Alright, whatever.
I can't drag it out, but the Age Chamber is fine.
Okay. Yeah, you can't because I'm in it. I was going to also say there's... Oh, wait, no, there isn't.
Yeah, I can't start dragging it out.
You gotta just move that. That's fair. Alright, Age Chamber then. Green or purple?
Purple.
Okay.
If I understand it, green is probably more glowy, but purple's appropriate color.
I know. Should be actual... What? Huh. Well, there should be a stat point, but there isn't one. Alright.
Whatever, it's fine.
Yeah, it's all good. Let me just... I may just citrate it a little bit. There. Okay. Which song?
Number 15.
Whoops. Hold on a second. I hit the wrong hotkey. Okay. Wait, which one?
15.
15. Okay, misheard.
Yeah, 1-5.
Jazzy.
Yeah. It's a worked sort of stone in this cylindrical chamber. It's relatively barren except for the panel beneath your feet, which... It doesn't bear a glyph or the bones of a dragon or anything like that. In fact, it looks very similar to what's on the mat here. It's just several concentric circles with amethyst lining in between. And waiting down a set of stairs leading up to the platform is a very aged-looking Alakazam with a wooden cane that has been carved so that the head of it looks like one of the lake sprites. I'm not going to say which because I don't remember their names. And they're giving a look to Ryda, one of amusement and annoyance. And that's where we're going to end off today.
That won't stop me from grabbing the model.
Well, I'm in trouble.
You did what Grandpa said not to.
I'm sorry, Grandpa, I had to.
You'll be fine. I've been in trouble lots of times with people way more higher up than me. You used to it after a minute.
Everybody gets 7 experience because the Haxorus was worth 5.
Oh, fine.
7, okay. Arrange it everybody for next time, don't mind me. Alright, he's still a bag.
Let's see, 9 plus 7 is 16.
There.
Do I get extra for pissing off the dragons? You know what? Yes, you do.
Do I get...
You know what you get extra? I'm gonna give you a, for doing something that is so fantastic and also terribly unwise. Up your max will.
Ooh.
Interesting.
I thought about giving you an instinct point, but that's a lot.
That's fair, actually. I kind of get that. Also, I'm deleting the copies of Lucky Chat, though I actually gave one to Ryda here. Since you're probably going to use that again, we can copy it from that in the future.
Okie dokie.
I'm not complaining about free will.
Just gotta put above your... There, that works. By the way, I will. That's
free will.
That's actually a it's a PMD Rescue Team DX icon. There's multiple icons from that game I can copy over if I ever just need a random item to serve as a thing for a stats effect or for an interesting item graphic that for something we picked up. I don't know, but so he gets a whole will point for Angry the Dragon. Says Tucker, get anything for talking back to them a little bit? A little extra experience, maybe.
Unfortunately, your nature is docile.
Aw, that's true.
My nature is serious.
It's okay. Thing is,
that was an incredibly rash thing to do.
Yeah.
I am quirky. That's why I make jokes in the presence of the dragon gods.
See, the thing about Tucker, though, is he does work with his docile nature when it comes to speaking up. After all, he did take the caveat of, well, yes, we don't know everything, so I will admit that. Like, that's a docile thing to do, right? So he still stays within nature, but he's definitely willing to speak up and like say, well, that's not right. But he does it in a docile way.
There was that one moment where I was like, oh, is he gonna start a fight? Are we gonna actually send you all to the prison?
There was a point where I was debating on whether to teleport in front of Brooke, but I was like, I'll just let this play out. If it escalates anymore, maybe.
Like, inwardly, I was really hoping. I was like, ooh, is this gonna escalate? Can I use Eternatus? Can I send them to the prison? Can I?
Do you guys think that Tucker lives up to his docile nature of how he interacts with people? What do you think?
Honestly, a lot of the time you do.
Okay.
And
he's the sort to want to smooth out things, which I feel is like a more docile thing to do.
Yeah, and generally speaking, like, natures aren't the end-all be-all. It's just, I can reward you for extra when you start exemplifying them real hard.
Noted. I wonder how I would do that with Tucker. I don't think I've ever earned experience because of being docile with him.
No, you have.
I have?
Yeah. There are times I've awarded experience because you guys have done certain things, even if it doesn't necessarily seem like it's totally because of your nature. It factors into it.
Fair. I feel like what is the brave proxy to the Pokemon natures? What's the one nature that's like brave, effectively? I know it's not called brave.
I'd need to pull out the rule book.
I don't remember what page that is on. I want to take a look.
Yes, I do want to jail people. There's arenas that are arena mats that are perfect for it, and it lets me do creepy things.
Oh, there is a brave. Oh, there is a brave. Okay. I kind of feel like Tucker is a docile / brave almost. I feel like a single nature isn't good enough for a character sometimes.
Well, like Kyrio said, it's like alignment.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's not the end all be all. It's not going to be a perfect thing.
Yeah.
Okay, there is a brave nature. All right. Could remember that for some reason.
And just over time.
I will say, Charem was expecting to see certain characters that did not appear, and I will happily reveal that I have plans for that.
Okay.
And you will see them eventually.
I'm fine with that.
Probably not now.
I was just there was a halfway thinking to myself, did he forget them? I just wasn't sure.
Oh no, I didn't. See, okay. I thought about spending even more time doing statting today just for them, and I realized, no, you guys probably aren't going there. Not right now. There are reasons for you to go there, and reasons for you to demand to be able to go there, but not right now.
Okay.
Hummity hum. Hummity hum hum hum. Humalicious.
Alright, did everybody get this experience on their sheets, so just make sure?
Yep.
Yep, got up to 16. looking at maybe sleep talk for later. Sleep talk would be fun. Add even more randomness to my arsenal.
Also, I do have to agree with you, Kyrio. There is a definite difference between rash and reckless. What do you think that? What do you feel what? Yeah, I think in this situation, what he did was rash. Reckless would have been like get into it, like suggest like trying to cause a fight over what they were saying or what they were arguing. I think a reckless party would have been like hearing them consider aggressive actions against us and take that as a fight and start fighting them. That would have been reckless. Rash is to respond aggressively without actually fighting. That would be more rash. I think that's the difference. Like, rash is kind of held back a version of reckless, almost. Like, there's still some sense being put into it. Like, I'll stay in my hand in this situation, but I'm definitely going to speak my mind, even if you don't like it. That's rash.
Yeah.
Also, thank you, Nano. It would probably be in the shape of Uxie, but also I'm going to forget that by next session.
Meanwhile, Tucker will also speak his mind even if they don't like it, which is why he piped up afterwards. However, his goal is different. Brooke is simply speaking his mind because he's speaking his mind. He doesn't like what they're saying, and he'll let them know. Tucker will speak up and let somebody know something they're not going to like to hear, but that's because Tucker thinks it's the right thing to do. Tucker will anger or piss people off possibly with something he says because he won't hold it back because he knows it'd be the right thing if... You know, or at least in his mind, because obviously he's right. There is one thing that's very correct. He doesn't know jack shit compared to the dragons on the stuff that has been going on, probably. But he does know that, well, connection, you know, collaboration with other parties from parties of other parties. That's always what's been best from their own experiences in the game so far. After all, for instance, the Vespiquen, good example, how they got corrupted. We helped them without having to hurt them much, and then we suggested collaboration to get their hive back together, and now they're working with, you know, Savon Town stuff, and hopefully that's working out for them. But yeah, so he sees the value of jolly cooperation, and he's going to be like, well, actually, and talk back if somebody suggests, well, isolationism.
Tucker's the Slayer of Darkness.
Adorable.
So yeah, Tucker will absolutely speak up and be a bit rash in doing so, but no, without actually being truly rash, because his intentions are, I want to see a good end result to what I'm doing. But Kyrio says, I think the rash is doing things without much thought. Reckless is acting with no thought or consequence at all.
Need to go eat dinner, thanks for the game. Super invested in what Ryder's connection to Brooke is now. Good night. Have a good night, Kyrio.
Good night, Kyrio.
Well. Also, I love the Library of Clairvoyance. Which, by the way, welcome to the Library of Clairvoyance. I love the music for this. It reminds me of Hollow Bastion from Kingdom Hearts.
It's a good song, isn't it? I think this one specifically... Let me look up the name of this one. Honestly, the way I'm just interested to... I find it interesting to compare how Brooke and Tucker both are willing to speak up and maybe annoy somebody or piss somebody off, but under different circumstances. Brooke's just willing to speak his mind without giving it much thought. Tucker does give it thought, and does speak his mind if he thinks he knows something, which isn't always true. Sometimes Tucker doesn't know really what he's talking about, but he thinks he does. That has happened before. He certainly is coming from the right place with whatever he's saying, but he may not always know enough to really be speaking up. I guess is a good way to do it.
Yeah, Ralph has been somewhat aggressive with that before too. It comes to mind when we were talking to Pingo and Lizard had first joined the party. Pingo expressed, being responsible for him or whatever, and lightly indicated that perhaps maybe Lizard couldn't be trusted because he was, we had just brought him home, and Ralph said something like, "Oh, well, you don't have to worry about that, do you? Because he's our teammate, not yours."
So, seeing how my character acts sometimes, I want to apologize if I ever seem heartless. I genuinely care about all of you. But my character can be difficult at times.
Tucker's
we've already seen a little clash with Tucker already.
Well, not really a clash. Tucker is currently seeing them as very enigmatic. He can't quite get a read on them. No, I wouldn't say Tucker clashed with them at all. More is just he's a little weirded out by their behavior and their, intentions. He's still trying to figure out their intentions. After all,
Also-
Tucker's thing is like emotively figuring out people, so yeah, that's going to be an interesting one with this one.
Also, I almost want to apologize for making basically making every legendary you've come across some form of jerk, but that's
Actually,
like,
kind of in nature to a lot of them.
yeah. Based on what I know of legendaries and their portrayal in PMD, that's not necessarily super inaccurate, but also it comes with the territory of being with deific levels of power and lots of time on their hands, and the ability to think in a very broad picture sense.
Yeah.
Compared to normal people.
Which Tucker does pick up on, but he did take some offense at the end when it was suggested that he doesn't at all understand, like, anything about... Again, there's a reason he gave that very icy glance back. It was meant to be very, very serious, saying, no, I have connected with exactly what this infection you guys are talking about is. I may not know everything about it, but I know some very deep things about it, basically. That's basically because Tucker has. You realize too, Tucker is connected with not only creatures like Vespiquen, who were indeed infected, as the wording was used, but he's also been connected with other powerful creatures that were basically corrupted by grief, such as Misdreavus. He's felt a lot of connections. He's been grounded to a lot of pain, like it or not. So it is something that he does disagree with the Dragons on. That, yeah, they don't know a lot, but he knows he has the capacity to learn, and he's already weathered a lot of learning that he didn't necessarily want to learn, but did all the same. You know, there's knowledge, and then there's the sheer force of emotions and connecting with another's emotions so utterly like that. Like, that is, kind of transcends knowledge in some ways.
There's also the possibility they're talking about something you are not aware of yet.
That is clear to Tucker as well, though. He knows he doesn't... He knows that they know more. He's frustrated that they won't share. That's really it. Because he thinks sharing would be better for everyone. And he doesn't mean to just us, either. He's hoping... Tucker really does wish that, such creatures of knowledge would share that knowledge with others, so this could be communicated and worked towards. Again,
well, you're in the right place!
Tucker is all about jolly cooperation. He thinks that if more Pokemon work together, then everybody is probably going to have a slightly better life and stuff. So, yeah, he's kind of anti-isolationist, Tucker. Though he can still respect things. Like, for instance, Mencito. He respects Mencito not wanting to go to the towns. Like, he gets that. Like,
at the very least, I hope I made it out that of the three, like, Reshiram is probably the most reasonable.
Mm-hmm. Notice that, by the way.
On immediately meeting you, it's like, oh yeah, these are like harmless children, it's fine.
I mean, it's still not exactly a kind outlook, I guess, towards us. But if Tucker had some one-on-time Reshiram, maybe they could get a good conversation going, I feel. But with the whole council as a whole, kind of impossible.
Fair. Also, at what point in time would Reshiram deem that as a necessary action?
Yeah, one-on-one conversation with this dog? Okay. Yeah, it would have to be a special circumstance.
Like, the unfortunate fact of the matter is that's literally asking a god to go, hey, have a conversation with my dog. You'll be further enlightened by it. And the god being like, I have the knowledge of 1,000 star systems at my fingertips. What the heck are you talking about?
Honestly, Tucker is a bastard of emotion.
See, you don't know what I'm talking about, so you can learn more stuff.
But then it really is interesting, though. It really is interesting, because, from a knowledge perspective, Tucker's nothing. Tucker is not a stupid, but his focus is definitely always on the emotional aspect. In addition, like, a lot of that can drive him to make decisions. Like, he sees how he can see people's emotions after all sometimes, and that has made him understand what led people. For instance, the glance at Misdreavus might be bigger than you guys think or know. What he saw in Misdreavus might have been big part of their history from those emotive moments we've connected with them. After all, he passed out from it, so there's a lot there. I don't think anybody is really aware of what he connected with there, for instance. So, yeah, I feel like that Tucker has weathered a lot, but not so much on the knowledge side, but more on the emotion side, which has a death of its own, but it's definitely severed from knowledge in a way. As in, those two things don't always coincide.
So, I will note, before I go, the council is made up of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lords at the moment. All legendaries. And there are 3 absentees. The Lord of Balance, the Lord of Skies, and the Lord of Condemnation.
No, we didn't hear that one.
You didn't hear that title, but you heard the name.
Oh, Eternatus.
So I would love to... it's fairly obvious who one of these is, at least. I want to see if the audience can guess who they are.
That's my guess.
The audience. I feel like I know who the Lord of the Skies is.
Yes, Arzadeu, they are all legendaries, for good reason.
Alright.
Also, I will say the Dragon's Path music is Peritune's Light and Flame, and the song currently playing is, I think it's just called Dungeon Tower.
That's appropriate.
From Peritune. So, yeah, Dungeon Tower. That's the official name.
Fair got 2 out of 3. There is a very specific reason that Palkia, Dialga, and Giratina are not part of this council. And that is because they are above this council.
Oh.
Well, they
is
are
council too piddly for them, huh?
God. So.
Yeah.
Okay. So the Lord of Skies definitely Rayquaza, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fair.
But yeah, as Hydra said, Giratina, Palkia, and Dialga are all as the aspects and fundamental elements of existence go in levels. They are above the Dragon Council. They are far closer to Arceus in nature than they are other legendaries.
Given their control of metaphysical concepts, that makes sense.
Yes. And you have encountered a creature that has specifically noted that even time fears it.
Meanwhile, the Tau Trio is also known as the Energy Trio, and that's fair, but energy is something more tangible and less metaphysical. It's technically below something like a concept like time and space.
Yes. So, at least from meta information's perspective, yeah, it would make a certain amount of sense if the Dragon Council is we don't want to deal with that. But yes, the Lord of Skies is Rayquaza, and as Fair said earlier, the Lord of Balance is Zygarde, who is specifically absent and has been absent for some time. And the Lord of Condemnation, for those that missed it, is Eternatus, who serves as the Warden.
That's what I thought. Okay. Maybe Tiger can talk to Zygarde. I mean, Zygarde could be a doggo. Can be some common ground.
Essentially, eat her, not us. That's what you say when he's around.
So, was I mistaken when the dragons were talking about the one they feared? It wasn't Eternatus that they feared?
No.
Okay.
However, I understand that based on the reactions of Reshiram and Zekrom, who both sort of recoiled, because background thing that may not come up, they don't like Eternatus. None of the other council like Eternatus at all.
I don't like Eternatus. It's I feel that.
They're a Eternatus. You could view Eternatus as being the Giratina of the council. They are the dark side of things. They do the stuff that nobody else wants to do.
Did you know that Eternatus is apparently extraterrestrial? They're not from Earth or such.
Yes.
I didn't actually know that. Just looked it up.
Like, doesn't that make them an Ultra Beast?
No.
But I see something of a relation to how Ultra Beasts are also aliens, I suppose. But that's like for me do different. I mean, they're probably from.
It would
places.
make them similar to Deoxys. They are extraterrestrial, but they aren't extra-dimensional.
Deoxys and Clefairy, which are possibly also extraterrestrial, depending on what you believe.
But yeah, Eternatus serves as the warden and the sort of shadow side of things. And
like Hades.
Yes, they very much serve the Hades role. And I picked them for it specifically because it's like, I don't want Giratina. I can do other things with Giratina. And I wanted to make Eternatus interesting.
This is fair. Also, good point. Extraterrestrial and multidimensional are two different things. Very good point. Because Ultra Beasts are multidimensional. That's not the same as being from another planet.
I thought they were all just aliens. Alright, my bad.
Though multidimensional is kind of like an alien. It's just a little bit bigger than that, I'd say.
Okay, Beerus, how would you pronounce it, then? Because it can be pronounced several ways. I could pronounce it Eternatus, or Eternatus, or Eternatus, Eternatus. There's a bunch of ways to say it.
Hey, Google! Tell me. No, don't let me talk. You tell me.
Eternatus.
Oh, Eternatus. Okay. Sure.
Eternatus.
It's Eternatus.
I'm pretty sure that's how it's said in anime. It's Eternatus.
I don't care. I'll pronounce it how I want.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they're so poisonous. They're sour that people says their name wrong.
Oh, Eternatus. Eternal plus Thanatos. I don't even know how to pronounce that. I don't even know how to pronounce Thanatos.
Yeah, Eternal Thanatos, as in eternal death.
How do you pronounce Thanatos? Is that right, or is it Thanatos?
Thanatos.
No, it's an A. It's an A, not an O.
Yeah, it's Thana.
Thana? Okay.
Wait, yeah, Thana...
Yeah. So what about the last part?
The spelling should be Thanatos.
No. Wait, what? No, it's Thanatos... Oh, wait, hold on. Maybe you're right, actually. But there's a US to Eternatus, so I don't know.
Yeah, well, letter changing.
Oh, fair enough. Okay, yeah, Thanatos. Isn't it Thanatos? That's right? For...
Yeah, it's the Greek god of death.
I did a report on him once.
Then I would say Eternatus, probably. Given that, yeah. Given the pronunciation.
Also, since I probably... I did mention one of the names, and again, I will be going shortly, but there are some really elaborate names for specific locations in the Dragon's Path, and the one that got mentioned was Siraculus Apse, which I will translate as River of Clouds.
Oh, that must be that. It's technically a dragon type, but it has like it looks like a bird with clouds. That must be where they all hang out.
Also, audience, if somebody wants, I will say this, I'm probably going to use a generic thumbnail for this episode, but if somebody wants to draw, like, Haxorus at his thighs, I will use that as a thumbnail.
Specifically,
it's the Beyond brand.
But there are two other areas. One that I didn't get to send you to, frowny face.
The dungeon.
In Karserus Sanguis. Sanguis. Which is the Vein of Imprisonment. And the last one, which you probably won't get to for ages if you get to it at all, is Omistarasiae, which is the Font of Origin. It was referred to as the Font.
That's adorable. I'm sorry, what? I felt something adorable.
Oh no.
There was a fan art drawn. I'll share it next session, though. Because I typically share the last session's artwork drawn for last session I share on the next session's beginning. So I'll keep to that path. But I will say that's amazing. Good work on that. Before we continue talking, I'm okay with continuing talking, but I think I'll end the episode now. Sound good? The video, that is.
Yeah.
So, good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. This was fun. This was a lot of fun. And it's nice having you here, Hydra. And now I can call Ryder instead of having to stumble over myself because we haven't gotten the name yet.
Anyway.
But yes, this was a lot of fun. It's great having you here. It'll be great having you here for the other episodes too. Just nice to have more talkies, more peoples again. But yeah, that was episode. Yeah, that was episode 90, session 93 of Pokerole, guys. I hope you enjoyed.